the Clinton Maroons in the opening conference game of the year as they take on the Cardinals of Warrensburg Latham. This is Larry Dooling, along with my sidekick for the season, Joe Spencer. And, Joe, I mean, we haven't even got this game underway, and I'm already having to try to catch my breath because my heart is still beating hard after those first two ball games. Obviously, the opening game winner in the final 23 seconds against Olympia, 14-7. And the game that everybody in the town and the area has been talking about, last week's win over Tolona Unity, come from behind, scoring in the final 9 seconds to beat the Rockets 40-34. I don't know how in the world the Maroons can top those first two ball games, especially last week's ball game. But this is a good matchup between two undefeated teams so far this year, and should be a shootout, I think, tonight.
Yes, everybody should be talking about those first two games and teams. It was both good games. I think that Warrensburg Latham tonight is definitely no slouch, as they have won their first two games as well. So I think this conference kickoff game should be a pretty good one.
Hey, Gary Regal, come here for just a second. I understand here that you were trying to organize some type of parking lot activity before the ball game. How did that go with the activity?
We had our first tailgate, and it was a success. We had about 8 different couples or families that came, and we're going to do it at Monticello away game next week. So.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, and a good enough success also the home game against St. Teresa in 2 weeks, probably?
Exactly. Well, we plan to have about 5 times as many people, and we got a grill and plenty of food, so everybody's welcome to come.
Okay, great. We'll look forward to that. People should come out, what, an hour ahead of time, hour before game time, if they're about 6 o'clock? Great. And they're going to do it at Monticello next week and also then the next home game. So some activity, a lot of excitement to being generated around this football team, Joe.
Well, it should be, as this football team has shown a lot of heart. As you mentioned before, they've come back and won their first 2 games in exciting fashion. And I think it's good the community is rallying around this football team as it did last year. And people in Clinton are getting excited about this football team, and I think they should. It could be another playoff year.
Let's talk about, as we see the Clinton High School Band making their way out, and they're going to be playing before this ball game, our national anthem, school song, and so on. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup now. Obviously, we know about the Maroons and their football team and how they're off. Near midfield, 1st and 10 for the Clinton Maroons. It's Sands wants to throw. He's looking for Herzog up the right sideline all the way. He's beat his man. He caught it. 20, 50, 10, 5, touchdown, Maroons! Splits backfield, one wide receiver each way. Quick pop over the middle to Nichols. He'll give it. Oh, and the lateral to Carter. Hook and ladder. Carter's at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Maroons! The Maroons really need to score on this play. From the 6, Sam hands it off. Conley trying to get around the corner. He's got the speed. 5, touchdown!
Clinton Maroon football brought to you by
entry of the Clinton Maroons, and what a rousing arrival here. The crowd welcoming this football team out here, but you know, how can you not be excited about football so far this year with the 2 exciting victories we've had so far this year?
Well, it's just been a great couple of games, and you hope the Maroons keep on their momentum swing here and pick up their first conference win tonight. I think if they play as well as they have the first 2 games, they ought to be able to do that.
Meeting of the captains at the center of the field right now, which I think is just to the right of your picture, and maybe we can pick up on that, but they're having the coin toss at this time, so captains from both teams meeting out there at the center of the field. We see David Lemmel out there, and I'll check and see who the other captain is right now, but it looks like the Maroons are going to kick off, as you see the gesture from the official, and so the Maroons will give the ball to Warrensburg Latham to start this ball game. Maroons wearing the totally maroon uniforms again tonight, what they wore against Olympia in the first ball game. They wore the maroon with the gold pants last week, but they opened the ball game, they wore maroon and maroon, and they're back in that maroon over maroon look, and Warrensburg wearing those bright gold shirts with the red numbers and red pants. I tell you, each year I'm just overwhelmed by those bright gold uniforms out there. They're going to pick up good on TV tonight, at least during the early portion of the game.
I don't think the referee will have any trouble picking up who's who on these teams.
Yeah, there won't be any problem picking up if it's gold or if it's maroon out there in this ball game here tonight. Maroons are heading out to the center of the field. Again, the health report on the Clinton Maroons is everyone A-OK except for Jeff Wilson. And we're going to watch and just see how much time he gets in there, but they think he's going to play on defense in this ball game, at least some of the time, at least maybe to start out, but we'll just wait and double check on that. The Maroons are going to be on defense to start this ball game first, it would appear, unless Warrensburg fumbles this kickoff, so we'll be able to check that real quick. Teeing the ball up is Carl Kortz at his own 40-yard line. Warrensburg starting to move back and drop their 2 deep men, so we'll pick them up in just a moment. And, of course, obviously one of them's got to be Kyle Steele. This guy, one of the best running backs in the area from what we've heard, and he'll be one of the deep men. And it looks like he's going to be flanked over there by Matt Freebarn. And they're dropping back both to about their own 5-yard line.
And Freebarn hasn't done such a bad job either, as he has 173 yards rushing so far, too. So they have 2 great runners.
So as the sun sets in the west, we're about ready to get this ball game underway. Courts waits for the signal from the official. Now, wait a second. We're going to have a little delay here. The officials are going to get together. The Warrensburg coach over on the far side of the field, which is Ken Hatcher, was out talking to one of the officials, and he's going to bring the crew together. The official he was talking to, going to bring the crew together for just a second. Oh, they want the lights on. Well, the lights are on. They're warming up. The sun is beginning to set, so the lights are on, and they'll be coming into full force here in the next couple of minutes. So I guess that's squared away. And now we're about set to get this game underway. Maroons will be kicking toward the south goal, so Warrensburg to start this ball game moving toward the north goal. And again this week, there doesn't appear to be much of a breeze at all, at least to start this ball game. Low line drive boot that'll be taken by one of the up men at about the 20-yard line, bringing it straight up the middle. Maroons surround him and bring him down before he crosses the 30-yard line. Corey Janbrin, who's a senior, 6 foot, 185 pounds on the return. He got it out to about the, let's see, forward progress beyond the 30 to about the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for Warrensburg.
And the Maroon players know Corey Janvern, as he played American Legion ball for the Clinton team this summer. And he's also been a pretty good player for Warrensburg as far as football-wise.
No huddle offense being used by this Warrensburg team. They're up to the line of scrimmage. Their quarterback, though, will take some time. Hammerschmidt will look over the offense, Dustin Hammerschmidt, before he makes his call. Sets them down, hands the football off. The Cardinals will try the left side of the line and get a couple of yards, maybe to the 36-yard line, before the running back, Matt Freebarn, is brought down after a short gain. About a 2-yard gain. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8 for the Cardinals. Yeah, you're going to have to bear with me tonight, Joe. There won't be much time between plays when the Cardinals have the football, because they'll be up to the line of scrimmage in no time. They'll just line right back up there and run another play.
Well, the Maroons did a good job on that play as they stuffed the run relatively after little gain.
Hammerschmidt, though, taking his time looking him over, sets him down, and one of the offensive linemen jumps across the line of scrimmage as they were setting him down and jumped across there. Todd Hughes, who's a junior, 5'10", 230 pounds, jumped across there, so a 5-yard penalty against the Cardinals. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 13 now. They've got some decent size, although they're not real big, but they've got some players, 210, 230, another 230, 215. But compared to Olympia and Colonial Unity, this is probably the smallest team we've met so far.
I don't think it should matter. As with the heat, I think maybe the smaller guys would be better tonight.
I tell you one thing, our team quickness being improved over past teams has helped. They're going to try to sweep it around the corner. This is Steele, wanting to cut it up. Oh, the Maroons contain it very well, and Randy Rich was the man that forced him to try to cut it inside, although he didn't have any place to go, and then Randy made the tackle on the play, played off his block very well, and dropped him for at least another yard loss. They're back to the 29-yard line, so they have 3rd and long coming up.
And the Maroons defense played that very well. That is what you have to do with a sweep, as they didn't let the running back get outside of the tacklers, and they just kept him inside and made a pretty nice tackle. Randy did a good job.
Hammerschmidt looking things over. Looks like he might be calling out some signals. They've got 3rd down and about 14 coming up at their own 29-yard line, and he's taking his sweet time. Even though they don't huddle, they take as much time or more, it seems like, between plays. Now he's down behind center, and they took too much time. Mike Craig is down at the sideline. Mike, do you have any idea why he took so much time and why they took too much time to get that play off?
I have no idea. Not on that. You would think that they'd want to get a couple more yards and then punt.
Could you hear him audibleizing to his players out there? Or what was he doing?
He wasn't doing anything.
Just looking things over,
Looking things over like they were going to take the penalty, but it didn't make no sense.
Well, they did take the penalty, so they're back another 5 yards. So it's 3rd and about 18 coming up, and now they're back to about the 23-yard line. Mike was right down there standing along the line of scrimmage, and he was able to get an ear on it, but he wasn't hearing anything. Here's the snap. Hammerschmidt bounced into his man out of the backfield. Now throws it downfield, and it's intercepted. He may go all the way. Down to the 10, 5, touchdown, Maroon Schumacher. Ryan Schumacher anticipated the pass, made the interception at the 30-yard line, and Ryan was off to the races. He got tripped up right before he got to the goal line, but fell into the end zone. And the Maroons are on the board first in this ball game. They lead 6-0 in the first just over 2 minutes of the ball game.
Well, that was Hammerschmidt's first interception thrown this season, and Ryan Schumacher played that one well as he just went right in front of the receiver the last minute and did a good job following his blockers all the way into the end zone.
Coming up, the conversion attempt. Carl Courts is on to try to put it through the uprights with Nate Sams holding. So the Maroons defense strikes first in this ball game. Schumacher, the interception and return, 30 yards for the touchdown. The kick is on the way. It is good. Timeout on the field. 9 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. Clinton leads 7-0.
Before or after the Clinton Maroons game, visit Clinton Subway for your favorite sub sandwich.
Not much of a return there. Steele returning it to about the 26-yard line as the Maroons defense got down and covered very well on that kickoff and pushed him back after he got to about the 26, 27-yard line on the return after Carl Court's deep kickoff that was taken at about the 10-yard line. Good start for the Maroons here, Joe. The defense comes up with a big play and Schumacher's interception.
And the fans loved that play just a minute ago as Connolly stood up Steele and then drove him back rather hard.
All right, so Warrensburg will try it again on offense, their second crack at it, and Hammerschmidt. That ball, that one didn't come off very cleanly at all. And the Maroons are there to stop that one very quickly. I don't know if the ball came loose there or not, but no gain on the play. And it'll be 2nd and 10. And so far, Warrensburg, a team that scored a bunch of points last week, 38 against Riverton, doesn't look like too much of an offensive threat. But, of course, it's very early in the ball game.
Well, right now they're stumbling all over themselves, but I would expect them to come out a little bit better.
Little misdirection. They'll get a little bit of an opening. But, boy, the Maroons come up and cover it again. First man in on the tackle was, I believe, Wes Graves. He came up, and then Randy Rich helped out to polish him off. But a very short gain of maybe 2 yards on the play for the back that time, Matt Freebarn, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 8 coming up now for the Cardinals. So far, even with those 3 backs in the backfield, they haven't been able to surprise the Maroons with anything so far.
Yes, the blocking has broken down for Warrensburg, and they just haven't been able to get a big yardage.
Hammerschmidt will try it again. He'll give it to the middle man this time, and the fullback will go very little. Corey Jandren is brought down by the Maroons' interior defense. Mike Craig down at the sideline. The defense, the middle of that line, is doing the job defensively out there, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not coming off the ball at all. Warrensburg isn't. Their fullback seems to be slipping about every time he comes out of his stance.
That field looks slippery down there at all?
No, it doesn't look slippery, but I think he's cleats or something, but he slipped both times there. He carried the ball in that series.
I want to ask you about the interception, but hang on a second for the punt, and I'll get back to you on that. See if you saw that any clearer than we did. Low snap, but it's corralled, and here's the punt away. Line drive kick that the Maroons will get to Schumacher at the 39. Gets a block from Igems, then has to cut it back, and he won't get much of a return out of this. It looked like their quarterback on that interception bumped into his running back, or the running back ran into him in the backfield, and that threw him off in his timing to throw that pass. Is that the way you saw it down there, Mike?
Well, the quarterback slipped and ran into one of his backs out of the backfield to start the play off, and then he underthrew the ball. So Schumacher was big enough and got up there and got it.
Easy pickings for Ryan Schumacher. So the Maroons are leading 7-0 at this point, and we're down to a little over 7 minutes ago in the first quarter of play. And now Clinton with their first time on offense, but the ball fumbles loose. It kicks upfield, though, and the Maroons should get a recovery on it if they can get on top of it, and I think they did, and they almost got first down yardage on the play. Clyde Leggett, I think, got the call, and it came out of Clyde's hands, but it rolled upfield about 5 yards, and the Maroons were able to hustle after it, and the guy that got on top of it was J.D. Stroud for the Maroons.
Yeah, J.D. did a nice job there as he saw the ball pop loose, and he fell on top of it. He did what the coach will always tell you, just fall on top of it. Don't try to pick it up and run with it. If you fall on top of it, you make sure that you're going to keep the ball.
It's a gain of 9 on that play, somehow for the Maroons. As we mentioned, Leggett getting a start at fullback in place of Wilson. Here's the option. Sams is in the clear. He's across midfield. 45. He may outrun them all. He's all the way to 30. He's running away, and the Maroons have their second touchdown of the game. A 54-yard touchdown run for Nate Sams. And just like that, the Maroons are up by 2 touchdowns, 13-0 over Warrensburg Latham. What a run by Sams. He just ran away from everybody.
Well, they did exactly what I said they should do, establish the runoff early as they got the option going. And Nate just took off like a jet around that left side, and, you know, nobody could catch up to him. And Nate, once again, just blew by everybody.
Another conversion attempt for Carl Courts. from the 10-yard line. Sams will be the holder as he catches his breath and gets ready to hold this one and place it down. Placement's on the ground. The kick is on the way. Plenty of distance, and it is through the uprights. Timeout on the field again. 6:44 to go in the first quarter of play, and Clinton leads over Warrensburg Latham 14-0. Starting this ball game, an interception for a touchdown by Ryan Schumacher, and then Nate Sams on the option left, and boy, he was open in no time and just ran away from the secondary people for the touchdown. And both kicks good by Carl Kortz have the Maroons up 14-0, and we're not even to the midway point of the second quarter. But we know what the game was like last week, so we got a long way to go, but it's sure nice to be on this end of the early score. Here's Kort's kick. Again, it's a good boot. And Steele will just watch it as Freebarn takes it at about his own 5. He's all the way across the 15-20, takes a couple of hard hits. Boy, the Maroons are laying some hits out there. They drill him back at about the 20-yard line. They're going to give him forward progress to about the 23 or so, but the Maroons are coming up there and really laying some hits on some people, aren't they, Joe?
Yes, they're getting fired up, and they definitely want to win this first conference matchup. And they just drilled Freeburn there and drove him back. I would not want to be him on that play, as Maroons did a great job. And as far as that running play by Nate, it was just great blocking on the left side.
Yeah, I saw several in on that tackle, but Kevin McCleary was a junior, 5'9", 160 pounds. He was one of those that came diving in there and putting a lick on him. Good to see some of these guys on specialty teams, on the special teams, doing the job there. This will get a little bit of yardage as Brad Earl has to make the tackle, but not after a gain for Steele of about 6 yards or so. He's beyond the 25 out to about the 28-yard line. And I think it's a pickup of about 5 yards. That's their best play from scrimmage so far in this ball game. On their third possession of the game, 2nd and 5 coming up for the Cardinals.
Well, fans will be hearing that name called all night, as Steele is the horse for this team, and he ran behind the right side and picked up about 5 yards. Good blocking by Warrensburg there.
Dustin Hammerschmidt will try it again in the middle this time, and maybe a couple of yards before the Maroons surround the ball carrier this time, and I believe it was Corey Jandren, and it was. The Maroons doing some good game tackling. I thought they were a little lax last week, but this week they seem to really be popping the pads down there. Mike Craig, who's along the sideline, are the pads popping tonight?
They are popping. Both of them kickoffs. Ryan Conley put a whack on the first kickoff, and that kick, I think Idens was in on that too, on that last kickoff there.
I wouldn't doubt it. He likes to get downfield and hit some people. It's 3rd down and 3 coming up for Warrensburg Latham. He sets them down. Hammerschmidt has the football. He'll give it to Steele. He's got an opening right side. He was grabbed and spun down, but he got the first down yardage, it would appear, out to about the 35-yard line, and that should give him a first down by a couple of yards. That's their first down of the ball game, and they gave him forward progress to the 36-yard line. So at their own 36, 1st and 10 for Warrensburg Latham.
That was just a quick trap up the middle, and the blocking did well on that way, and they found a little hole in the Maroons' defense and got 5-6 yards out of it.
Steele is, you have to really ramble in this ball game, and that one didn't come off cleanly. Penalty flags flying as they snap the football. And this one will be a procedure penalty against the Cardinals. We'll push him back 5 yards again and bring up a first down and 15. So far, the Maroons in the early going of this ball game, staying away from the penalties, which have plagued them in the first 2 ball games.
Yes, the first 2 ball games they had 19 penalties, which it evened out because their opponents had about that many, but further down the season, they're going to have to limit those. And Warrensburg's doing a bad start here, as they've had 3 quick ones already.
1st and 15 now for the Cardinals as they're pushed back to their own 31-yard line. See if they go to the air. No, they'll pitch it and try to get it around the corner. Coming up quickly and dragging down is Josh Wilson. Josh Wilson was the man I saw that came up and grabbed from behind and threw him to the ground for a loss on the play of about 3 yards. He came firing through from his linebacker spot. And that's a big loss for Warrensburg. Now they've got 2nd down and probably about 19, almost 20 yards, it looks like, from here as they set the ball out there.
He saw the pitch out to the left, and he just broke from his position and tackled him rather easily for a big loss here.
That's that team speed we were talking about the Maroons appear to have. Much improved over past years, and a guy like Wilson, a sophomore, has pretty good quickness. Quarterback wants to pass. Hammerschmidt slips as he tries to throw, but he still finds his man, makes the connection. It'll be well short of a first down as the Maroons gang tackle on the receiver at about the 40-yard line. So Warrensburg will have a 3rd down and about 7 to go for a first down. But that time Hammerschmidt slipped as he went to make the throw, Mike, and somehow he regained his balance and made a pretty good throw on it after he slipped and fell.
Yeah, he zipped it right in there, but I can't understand why they keep slipping. The Maroons don't seem to be slipping.
Well, maybe we got better cleats than Warrensburg does.
Might be.
Why don't you do a cleat check for us down there if you get a chance,
Well,
okay?
they're too big to try to stop one of them. Them linemen are about 220,
they might hurt you if you tried to check, okay? Hammerschmidt wants to throw. He's going deep. Schumacher's beat on the play, and the catch is made. 30, 25, 20, and Schumacher drags him down from behind. It got over his head that time. Chamberlain makes the tackle. But this one's going to come back at the line of scrimmage. There is a flag, and it's going to bring it back. There's a holding penalty against Warrensburg Latham, and this play is going to come back. But Ryan, you know, we've seen him get turned around a little bit before in previous ball games, but fortunately, in some of those instances, the ball has been underthrown, and he's been able to make an interception or knock the ball away. But that time, they got it over his head, and the receiver made a nice catch on it. Unfortunately for Warrensburg Latham, it's going to come back.
Well, I think maybe his footing gave a little bit there. He can't fault him as he was playing tough coverage all the way there, and the ball just was thrown pretty well. And Chamberlain, who is their main receiver, came up with a pretty big catch. But it's all for naught, as once again Warrensburg Latham does have a penalty that kills a big gain.
That's really a killer penalty for the Cardinals. They haven't had much momentum going. And here they look like they got a big gain and get into scoring position down there near the 20-yard line, and it comes back. A 10-yard penalty. It'll bring up third down and about 16 to go for a first down now, instead of that what appeared to be a first down play. So now they're inside the 30 at about their own 29. And I would assume that Dustin Hammerschmidt would be forced to throw again, and he's thrown the ball pretty well so far, even though he slipped. He's under pressure this time, gets away, gets out of the pocket. Wilson trying to give chase, gets by him, and then Schumacher comes up and knocks him out of bounds at about the 43-yard line, and that is short of a first down. It should bring up fourth down and maybe about 5, I'm guessing, so far before they bring it out to the center of the field to the hash mark, and would be a punting situation because they're at their own 42, 43-yard line or so. So we'll expect Warrensburg to make their second punt of the game coming up here from Dustin Hammerschmidt, their quarterback.
Ryan did a good job coming from a secondary position as the quarterback ran past Josh Wilson, the linebacker, and Schumacher did a nice job pushing him out of bounds and not allowing the first down.
Hammerschmidt from his own 32. Under some pressure from Earl, and Earl almost got it. Might have tipped it a little bit. It's not a real long kick. Takes a good bounce for Warrensburg, though, and he'll go inside to 30 and still roll, where Steele will down it at the 27-yard line. Boy, it looked like Brad Earl had the football all written all over the front of his jersey, but somehow the ball went up high enough to get over him, much like a pitching wedge shot hit perfectly, except I don't know how to do that. I have trouble with that golf game. Oh, yes, Jeff Berger knows how to do that. I don't. But that's why he's the golf coach, and I'm just the radio announcer. Maroons will take over.
Well, the punter looped it over over Brad Earl and tried to do a nice acting job to get a penalty, but it didn't work.
Haven't seen Ryan Conley carry, but here he goes. Finds an opening, cuts it outside, 30, 35-yard line, gets a block from Jamie Queer up front. Now breaks into the clear. He's going to run away. 40, 30, 20, 10. Ryan Conley has scored the third touchdown of this ball game for the Clinton Maroons. A sweep right. He got around the corner. Jamie Queer gave him a nice little bump block out front, and he just turned on the afterburners like he can, and he ran away from 2 men. There was 2 guys that had a shot at him, Matt Johnson, and then their quarterback, Hammerschmidt, and he ran away from them both, and there's the speed of the Maroons again, and they're up by 3 touchdowns now, still here in the first quarter of play.
They ran off tackle around that right side, and it worked big gains as Conley 73 yards. He shows his speed off once again as he ripped off a 59-yarder last week. He has come up big this season so far for the Maroons, as that's his 5th rushing touchdown. And he did just a great job, as nobody had a chance after the line of scrimmage. He just ran by everybody.
73 yards, you said? All right, we got the conversion attempt coming up here. Well, that's going to pad the stats a little bit for Ryan. 1 carry, 73 yards. They're coming with a big rush, but Quartz gets the kick away, and it's drilled through there. Timeout on the field. 2:28 to go, still in the first quarter of play, and Clinton has upped their lead over Warrensburg Latham to 21-0. Warrensburg Latham has stepped up their defense from last year and improved their defense, and I don't mean this as a smart aleck, but the Clinton Maroons have run 3 plays, and what has happened so far in 3 plays for the Maroons?
3 plays, 129 yards on the ground. They haven't even had to put it up in the air.
And 2 touchdowns.
And 2 touchdowns.
And the defense scored the first touchdown of the ball game. Schumacher with an interception return. So that penalty was a big penalty. The holding penalty we're talking about against Warrensburg. That would have had him down to about the 20-yard line. We're kind of forgetting about that, but that brought that back. Then the Maroons got the punt, and they score immediately. Another good kick by Quartz. Again, Steele doesn't get the return, though. Prebarn is again stopped and brought back, and there's a penalty flag thrown behind the play. Upfield here. It might be a blocking penalty against Warrensburg. The Maroons pour it through there. Just got to make sure we're not getting too cocky out there and making any mistakes. And hopefully this isn't against us. We'll wait and see what the official calls. But the Maroons stop the return inside the 20-yard line. And if there's no penalty to be tacked on this, nope, it is. It's a clip against Warrensburg Latham, so there won't be any penalty tacked on against the Maroons. And I didn't think there would be. But I just wanted to make sure before I said this is going to be terrible field position again for Warrensburg Latham. And I don't know what the coaching staff did, but whatever they did, they need to bottle it because, I mean, they've done a great job in the first 2 ball games, but they've got this team going a notch higher, even a notch higher than where they were the first 2 ball games. They're coming out here, and they're just snuffing everything out on special teams and on defense out there.
Well, I love that last play is on the coverage. Swarms and herds of Maroons around the carrier, not just one person.
Yeah, just gang tackling all over the place, doing a super job. They will start from their own 11-yard line, 1st and 10 this time. And Hammerschmidt looking things over, taking his time. Now steps under center, sets him down with the 3 backs in the backfield. He'll choose one, and it goes nowhere. Very little gain on the play. Good ankle tackle on the part of the Maroons in the center there. I believe that was Clyde Leggett who made the tackle on Corey, the fullback, Corey Janvrin, and a gain of maybe 2 on the play. 2nd and 8 coming up for Warrensburg at about their own 12 or 13. Closer to the 12, it looks like. Defensively, except for that one big play, the pass that got called back on the penalty, the Maroons defense has been pretty decent. 1 first down so far for Warrensburg Latham, and we're nearing the end of the first quarter play, about a minute and a half to go. Here they come charging through again. And they're going to pitch it, and it's loose. Steele trying to get it. The Maroons will recover. A bad pitch from the quarterback on the option. Steele tried to get the ball, but he had a man hanging on his jersey, and the Maroons, again, gain tackle and force the turnover, and they have recovered inside the 10-yard line, and this is just like men against boys so far here in the first quarter of play. The Maroons are dominating this ball game all over the place.
Brad Earl came up big as he got the ball, and that's what happens when you get plenty of Maroon jerseys around the ball. Good things can happen, and with the bad pitch by Hammerschmidt, as he was pretty much almost all the way tackled before he pitched the ball, then you get things like that can happen, the fumble.
I don't know who all to credit for that play because, you know, you have to credit the guy that's hanging on the quarterback that forced the bad pitch, the guy that's hanging on to Steele so he couldn't catch the pitch and make the play, and the guy that recovered the fumble. I mean, you had guys making plays all over the place. Inside at about the 9, inside the 10, Conley gets the call up the middle. He'll get it down close to the 5-yard line before he's corralled and brought down. It's 1st and goal from the 9. And down to about the 5-yard line, 2nd and goal from the 5, it looks like, coming up for the Clinton Maroons. They already lead 21-0. There's still people pouring. You know, I bet people are listening to the game and they're going, I'm going to get out there and see what's going on here. This sounds exciting. Let's head for the football field. And more people are still pulling in. There's plenty of parking on the grass, folks. The parking lot's full. The grass area is filling up. But go ahead, just park out there somewhere toward the bean field someplace and come on in. Watch the game.
Yes, but the Maroons can't get cocky as last week they were up 21-6 against Tolono. And Tolono
they'll try it up the middle, Leggett, and he goes down near about the 2, I believe. Clyde Leggett getting the start at the fullback spot tonight. Has carried a couple of times, and that time he held on to the football, got it down to about the 2. 3rd and goal at the 2 coming up for Clinton.
You have to respect this guy as he's playing running back with a broken finger, and it's hard enough trying to hang on to the ball, but when you got a finger that's hard to move, it makes it that much tougher. And
yeah, you're right.
He's going to do a good job, I think.
And Fossen, the one wide receiver to the left side. Sams is going to quarterback keep it. He is in there, it appears. Touchdown, Maroons. Nate punches it several yards deep into the end zone, charging behind his offensive line. And here with 16 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play, Clinton now leads by 4 touchdowns. With the conversion attempt coming up, they lead 27-0.
Well, sheer domination is the name of the game right now, as the Maroons have only run 6 offensive plays, have 4 touchdowns. They had 1 defensively, but Nate just ran right up the middle on a QB keeper, and he had good job by center Ross Wantland to block for him, and he found the end zone.
Courts can go 4 for 4. This one not quite as much distance with a big charge coming through there, but he gets the kick through the uprights. And then a shot, who's a junior, 5'11", 160 pounds, is brought down by the Maroons. They'll start this time near their own 35, 1st and 10, trailing the Clinton Maroons 28-0. Joe, what a first quarter. Whoa.
Well, Jeff Berger, the golf coach, just pointed out if the Maroons keep scoring, they're not going to have enough footballs to throw around to the crowd. And 28-0, that's pretty impressive.
See if they get the play off before the end of the first quarter. I don't think they're going to snap the football. We are at the end of the first quarter of play. And what a first quarter it's been. Timeout on the field. We'll be back with quarter number 2 in just a moment, with Clinton leading Warrensburg Latham at 28-0. Whip out the record book that former coach Ron Goodwin put together a couple of years ago, and see if that's a new record. Well, it was in there at one time. I don't know. I got it. Careful here. Don't knock my lines over the place. Jeff Berger's trying to help me out. I don't know. It's in here someplace. I mean, you know, they got programs. We got, you know, old cigars. Here it is. A history of Clinton Maroon football. So I don't have time to look this up right now, Mr. Scoreboard Runner. See if you can find if that's a record for points in a quarter for the Clinton Maroons, and see what you find out there and let us know in a little bit. We got people on the sideline doing sideline reports for us. We got researchers in the booth. We got things covered here.
Well, it's just the great radio station WHOW. They've got all points of the field covered.
We got them everywhere. We just need a helicopter or a blimp hovering above, and we'd have it all covered then. An action cam built into the ground would be good, too. A microphone in the middle of the field. 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for Warrensburg. Short pass. They make the completion, and they'll get some yardage. First down yardage, as a matter of fact. Igins will try to check the ball carrier down, and that's their best gain of the ball game, down to near the 40-yard line of Clinton before Igins tripped up Corey Jandron from behind after he made that catch out of the backfield. Just a short completion, but a good run afterwards as he turned the corner and cut it upfield. And they're in the Maroon territory for the first time in this ball game. They were in the Maroon territory earlier, but a penalty brought it back. This time, no flag. 40-yard line of Clinton, 1st and 10 for Warrensburg Latham as we start quarter number 2. And their coach is still coaching over there. Ken Hatcher, you know he's not going to quit. He and his assistant coaches on the far sideline.
That was just a quick swing pass out to the right side that broke for big yardage.
Hammerschmidt wants to throw. Short pop. Threw it behind his intended receiver. Schumacher was there on the coverage, and it goes incomplete behind the man who caught a pass a little bit earlier, Chamberlain. And Tim Chamberlain has been a good pass catcher for them so far this year, but that one he wasn't able to reach back for and grab. So 2nd and 10 coming up.
Well, he couldn't really do much with that pass as it was thrown well behind him. And, you know, Hammerschmidt's doing a good job so far, at least 2 of 3. He does have that interception, but I think Warrensburg's just a little thunderstruck right now, I guess I
would imagine. Here's a flag before they get this play off. Warrensburg, you know, in the no-huddle offense, standing around the line of scrimmage before they snap the football. And did somebody line up incorrectly? Yeah. No, it's against the Maroons. Somebody for Clinton lined up incorrectly, and they call offsides against Clinton, so costly penalty against Clinton. Looks like one of the Maroons coaches, I can't tell from behind, that's Chuck Nagel. I was going to say it looks like Chuck, but I wasn't absolutely sure. Pleading his case with the official, wanting a clarification out there. 2nd and 5 coming up now for Warrensburg. They're at the Maroon 35-yard line. It's their best penetration. Back to pass. No, draw play. Got the handoff off, but somehow he got tripped up in the backfield, really on the back of his own man, and fell forward for very little yardage on the play. Steele on the draw, lost a yard, as a matter of fact. I think he ran into the back of one of his offensive linemen, Keith Harris, trying to block a Maroon out front. Well, so you got to credit whoever he was blocking with the tackle on that one, although I didn't catch who it was.
Well, Warrensburg didn't block many, though, as the Maroons had 2 guys coming at the quarterback, and Hammerschmidt was just lucky to get the ball off.
Those middle guys still putting pressure on Hammerschmidt from time to time. 3rd and 6 coming up. They're at the 36-yard line of Clinton. Short pop. They've got the completion and a good block. They're going to get it up the near side of the field. Good tackle by the Maroons, but it should be very close to a first down play for Warrensburg Latham. Matt Freebarn made the catch. Cut it upfield. He got it inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. They may have to measure it. Nope, no problem. They say that is a first down. So they are inside the 30-yard line. And this is the best offensive series so far of the ball game for Warrensburg Latham. We've played a little over a minute into the 2nd quarter of play.
Well, that was a nice design play as it was a quick out to one of the wide receivers, and they had Chamberlain blocking for him so he could get the first down yardage. And that play worked well for him right there.
Chamberlain sealed somebody off and gave Freebarn a lot of room to run to the outside and enough to get the first down. Back to pass again. Hammerschmidt over the middle. Got a receiver there. Good catch made. Good strong tackle by Bob Igins after the catch is made, but Freebarn is becoming a big catch man in this ballgame so far. And here's a penalty against the Maroons. They roughed the quarterback on the play, too. They roughed the quarterback after he let go at the pass, and so this is going to add on additional yardage onto this play, and Warrensburg starting to move in position for a score. And this all happening here early in the 2nd quarter of play. Clinton off to a 28-0 lead, but Warrensburg staging a bit of a comeback now on this drive, and we'll wait and see what happens on the penalty. Mike Craig, our roving sideline man, I see he's down there talking to our former color man, Cameron Mond. Is Cameron giving you any inside information here, or what's going on between you two?
Cameron's really wanting to know, Larry, what you're doing up there.
I'm doing the game. What's he doing? What's he doing down there?
He had to go back to the journal and take some film out of his camera.
Are you live?
He missed one touchdown.
Oh, well.
Oh, you got a microphone on? I didn't know you had a microphone on.
Yeah, you're on, Cameron. You're on. But Cameron doesn't know he's
Sideline
on.
reporting?
Yeah, Cameron.
You want to help out? Ask him if he wants to help out
I
on the
didn't know
sideline.
that. Clinton Daily Journal.
Yes, okay, you got your commercial now. I hope you're happy. Personal foul is going to put the ball down there inside the 15, it appears, at about the 14-yard line. And they're going to move the sideline chains up, but Clinton's going to take a timeout here. Mike, after a team scores 4 touchdowns in the first quarter of play, I mean, what's the attitude of the guys along the sideline? Can you tell? Are they, I mean, how much higher can they get after they've gotten off to a start like this? Or are they starting to relax a little bit down there?
It don't sound like they're starting to relax at all. The coverage teams are really what's playing good, the coverage teams. The kickoff coverage team, they're putting some wax on. Every time they come down, they're stopping.
Yeah, that's, you know, we talked about that, not on the air. We've talked about how the specialty teams look like that might be one of the weaknesses the Maroons have had so far this year to a certain extent. Not a major factor so far. But, hey, this is a big difference tonight. I mean, they are really making some plays on specialty teams here tonight, especially defensively, covering the kickoffs.
Yeah, setting up that last touchdown, Brad Earl, he broke the wedge all by himself. I mean, he come down and just throwed his body right in the middle of that wedge and set up the touchdown.
All right, well, Warrensburg starting to move in position here, so the Maroons have used a timeout. Joe, what's the official word? Were they looking through it? They couldn't find anything on if that's a record in the record book as far as points scored in a quarter. What was the verdict down there from Jeff Berger and the guys?
Points scored in the quarter was not documented.
Okay, we don't have that information, just points in a game. What's the points in a game? Did you remember? 72. We got a ways to go to try to capture that one, although we're on a good enough pace to make that maybe. We're down to 10 minutes and 20-some seconds ago in the second quarter of play. Clinton is leading 28-0, but Warrensburg's starting to get their offensive act together here. They have moved the ball into scoring position. They have a first down and 10 situation at about the 15-yard line, just inside the 15, it appears, from here.
Well, Warrensburg has started driving, but the Maroons have helped them out with 2 penalties as well.
Here's another flag before the snap of the football this time.
Yeah, the Maroons give them 10 yards or so on the roughing the passer call, and they give 5 right back. So, you know, that's not good for them.
And another timeout taken by the Maroons. Kind of strange here, but they're using their second timeout of the first. Warrensburg has moved the ball really for the first time in this ball game on this drive and have gotten it into scoring position. They'll have a 1st and 15 coming up. Here's Chuck Nagel coming off the football field after talking things over with his ball club. But, you know, we got to compliment this coaching staff. Head coach Chuck Nagel, Brian Knutson, who, of course, is maybe the head assistant. He's definitely the man who runs the offense. And those other guys, too. Eldon Triesenberg, who's been a coach for so many years. Wally Urban, John Hickman, and new guys Jerry Wayne and Brett Harris. Great job this year. Back to pass. Gets up, steps up in the pocket, fires a good pass over the middle, and a completion's made, and maybe close enough to a first down inside the 10-yard line. Good diving catch made down there inside the 10-yard line by the receiver, and I think it was Chamberlain who made the catch. And let's see if he got enough for a first down. They're going to measure and see if they got the first down. They are inside the 5 and very close to a first down. And I tell you what, I'm impressed with the throwing touch that Hammerschmidt has shown here in this first half of play. He knows how to zip that ball, and he had some pressure on him this time, but he's completed, 6 out of 7 passes, something like that so far in this ball. No, I'm sorry, 5 out of 6. It is 6 out of 7 if you count the interception, but it's 5 out of 7. And some pretty good yardage so far, and Warrensburg is definitely now in scoring position. They'll have 1st and goal. Excuse me, no, they won't. They'll have 2nd and short. It was short. 2nd and short, but they can pick up a first down here as they are inside the 5-yard line.
That was just a quick crossing pattern to Chamberlain, and he found a hole in the Maroons' secondary coverage.
Not a big hole out there in the middle of the field. He was wide open, and he made a nice, safe catch on a low throw, a bullet, though. Hammerschmidt takes his time again. Now has the football. Short drop. Pops a quick pass. Got a blocker out front. Eichens comes up. Whoop. Didn't get the tackle, and they score the touchdown. The guy that's got several passes in this ball game, Matt Freebarn, is able to slip through Bob Eichens' tackle near the 3-yard line, and Warrensburg's on the scoreboard. Don't count them down yet. Don't count them out, even though they trail by 3 touchdowns now. There's still a lot of football to go, and that was a pretty good-looking drive that they put together this time to get their 6 points on the board.
Once again, that was that designed pass out to the left flat as Freeburn did a good job catching the ball. It was just quick out, and they had Chamberlain block out the first tackler, would-be tackler, and then Bobby couldn't make the tackle. But, you know.
The extra point attempt doesn't come off too cleanly. A little hesitation by the kicker, Phil Netherly, and then he pulled the ball wide to the left. No good. So the score remains 28-6 in favor of Clinton. Timeout on the field. Here with not seen tonight, a kickoff by Warrensburg Latham. I think they got a foreign exchange student in there. He's doing the kicking. One of those guys that knows how to play soccer, and he makes a pretty good boot toward the sideline. Eichens will pick it up, stays in bounds, 15, 20-yard line, cuts back to the center of the field, finds a little opening, stays on his feet, nifty running, 40, 50, one man out front, and it's the kicker, Iges will try to outrun the kicker. 30, 25, breaks that tackle. 10, 5, touchdown. Bob Igem's kickoff return. That's the first kickoff return of the year. I had it at 85 yards. He picked it up at about the 15. 85, I think, from about the 15. So we'll call it 85-yard return until we watch the replay on TV and see we were wrong on what the yard line was. But we were just interested in whether or not he's going to pick it up before it went out of bounds and then whether he'd keep his feet in bounds. But he made a smart run, took it in the middle of the field, found his blockers. He almost fell down one time about the 30, but put his hand down to keep from touching that knee on the ground. And then, boy, he had some blockers out front. And all he had to do was beat the kicker, Veda, who I think is a foreign exchange student, and there wasn't much of a contest there. He was able to run away from that guy. A valiant effort by the kicker. Here's the kick by Carl Kortz. It's going to get through there again, so he's 5 out of 5. What a return, Joe, by Bob Igems. That's a super return.
Bob did a great job as he ran to the middle where the Maroons had created a wedge for him, and he did a good job keeping his feet, and then he just ran by Janucci Uada.
Very good. Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
But he just ran by him, and he was pumped up. He wanted to make up for that play before where Warrensburg scored, but you know, he can't fault himself on the play Warrensburg scored because the one-on-one tackle is hard to make. He did a great job there showing his speed. As he also, like Ryan Connolly, is a track guy.
Good speed, no doubt about it. And the way he kept his balance on that one, and beautifully done by Bob Igems. And give credit to those blockers in the wedge out there in the middle of the field. They did a great job giving him the opening once he took it to the center of the field. And, boy, 16 seconds. The Maroons answer the touchdown by Warrensburg. You're Warrensburg, and you're finally feeling like, all right, we're on track. We got the score. We moved the ball. And whoosh. The wind is out of your sails on a kickoff return by the Clinton Maroons just like that. I mean, that is answering your opponent quickly.
Yes, that just takes, as you said, the wind out of the sails. And Warrensburg, he was thinking a little bit of confidence after that drive. Has to be a little down on themselves again.
Here's Kortz with a kick. Steele's going to get a return this time from inside his 10, 15, 20, trying to center the field. He's hit hard again and brought down. I think that was Wes Graves, the first man down. Clyde Leggett also in the vicinity, and Ryan Conley was there. And they come up and they meet the guy, and they put him down at about the 25-yard line. Warrensburg will start 1st and 10 from there. Where's Mike at? Mike, you still down there someplace?
Yeah, I'm down here.
Okay. Did the guys come unglued on that kickoff return?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you talking at all.
Really? You were close to the bench. Were you near him when he picked up the ball? How close did he come to touching the sideline? Could you tell?
About a foot and a half.
I know. Look
he
close
was right
from
on
here.
it. He tiptoed about 2 or 3 strides. He almost went down, one hand.
Yeah, he did. Here's a throw. They got a man open downfield, but he turned the wrong way, and this time Schumacher with Freebarn on the coverage. It goes incomplete out here about the 45-yard line. They tried to go deep down the sideline, and it comes up incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up for Warrensburg Latham.
That was an out pattern toward the sideline. Freebarn just turned the wrong way, and incomplete pass. And the Maroons are doing a pretty good job as Warrensburg's only had that one drive, but they've been stopped most of the game so far.
They did stop them early. However, that last drive, they did move the ball. Here's another delay and a draw, and there's David Lemmel who grabs him and throws him to the ground. Oh, ran into a brick wall there, didn't he? Steele got the call. You know, we heard so many accolades about this young man, and again, there's a long way to go in this ball game, and I don't want to say anything silly, so I'm going to try not to here. But so far, the Maroons have contained him very, very well. I mean, what kind of yardage are we talking about so far for Steele of Warrensburg?
6 carries, 6 yards.
Lost 2 yards on that one. Again, that was a delayed draw, so he started several steps behind the line of scrimmage, and he ended up about 2 yards short of the line of scrimmage, so he lost 2. Here's a quick pass. Intercepted! Diving catch by Jamie Queer. Did he hang on to it? Yes, he did. He zipped into it at the last second, stepped in front of Corey Janvrin, and makes the interception. And if he hadn't had to dive forward to make the catch, he would have scored 6, and I know he would have liked to have gotten a touchdown. But that's a great catch, interception at the 25-yard line. And the Maroons are in scoring position again after that interception by Jamie Queer.
It was a bad pass out to the right flat, and Jamie Queer, who has come up to me in school and has been kind of disappointed with their coverage as he's got his name wrong, gets it called right this time.
All right, sorry about that. Here's Sands on the run, puts his head down, runs over a man, and gets it down to the 16-yard line before he's brought down on the play. That's a quick gain of about 9. You saw, for those of you watching the replay, our camera bounce it up and down. Some young, excited fans. I mean, it's 35-6 in favor of the Maroons, and the Maroons have the ball again. And I guess you can't blame the young people for being excited, but they are knocking the camera all over the place. Bounce up now. Phil's hanging on for dear life here. 2nd and 1 coming up for the Maroons. Sam's under center. Gets it from Watman. Fakes one way, goes the other way. A little bit of an opening for Conley. He's grabbed around the ankle, still fighting hard, and gets the first down yardage and gets it down to about the 13-yard line, it would appear. And that should be enough for a first down for the Maroons.
Yes, that was a good play as Ryan fought all the way for the first down. And he got a few yards there to pick it up. And good job as he kept those legs pumping, even though Warrensburg was all around him.
We're down to about 7.5 minutes to go before halftime. Yes, halftime. I know the score is 35-6. I know we've had a lot of action already in this ball game, but we still have over half of the second quarter to go.
And it's very rare, but the Maroons have 35 points on 2 first downs.
Wow, they just have struck like lightning, and plus the defense scored one. Here's Conley staying on his feet, getting down close to the 10-yard line. Maybe another 3 yards or so before he stopped on the play as he stumbled forward. And it'll bring up, I think they're only going to give him a gain of about 2, so second down and 8 from just outside the 10-yard line, maybe closer to the 11-yard line for the Maroons as they go toward the north goal. 35 points so far in the ball game for Clinton. Lance Taylor and Jamie Queer. There you go. I gave you some billing, Jamie. Wide to the left side. I formation in the backfield. It's Clyde Leggett with Conley behind him. The pitch goes to Conley, going right, has to cut it inside and couldn't get it upfield as the defense played off Clyde Leggett's block pretty well that time. And Bart Hickey, who's 6'3", 185 pounds, a junior, and I bet he's a basketball player too. I remember some other Hickeys up down there at Warrensburg that have been pretty good basketball players. I'm just guessing, but he played that very well from his line position and made the tackle and dropped Conley for a loss of a yard on the play.
Well, the Maroons, all 3 plays down on this part of the red zone here have run behind the big right side, and Warrensburg defense has done a good job containing Connolly.
Queer and Shane Van Fossen this time are wide to the left side. Again, the I formation. Sam's quick pop over to Schumacher's got it. 5-yard line, pulling toward the goal line, and goes down very close. He's in for the touchdown. It was a delayed signal, but he fell on the goal line, and the line judge down there reluctantly put the hands in the air and gave him the touchdown. And that will be a 12-yard touchdown quick pop over the middle from Nate Sams to Ryan Schumacher, and Ryan ran at the last 5 yards with somebody hanging onto his legs.
Yes, that was a 12-yard touchdown pass to Schumacher on the first pass play of the game, and it looks similar to the Bears' first touchdown last weekend as the tight end delayed coming off the line and then just found the hole.
Low snap, can he get the kickoff? He does, and it appears to be good. It is. That time, Carl Courts with a lot of pressure on him, and Nate Sams, a juggling act, got it down, and they get the kick through. 6 for 6 on the extra point attempts by Carl Courts. And Clinton here still with 6 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the second quarter play. They now lead 42-6. Back with the kickoff in a moment. I thought I had trouble talking in 15 minutes to Coach Chuck Nagel about last week's football game. What am I going to do this week on Coach's Corner tomorrow morning at 9:30?
But one big factor so far has been field position, and the great kicking of Carl Courts has buried Warrensburg back in their own end.
Yeah, this time he chases his man back a little bit before Jamvrin brings it up the center of the field and stays on his feet. Good ankle tackle on the part of, I think it was Jamie Queer. It was. And Jamie, we got you that time. You made the tackle, stopping him at about the 36-yard line. I'm gonna watch for him a little bit more. I do. He's making a point here. A good one. I got to watch for these guys a little bit more and give them a little bit more credit out there for the individual plays that they make, tackles, and when they do, make those plays out there.
And we both do, Larry.
Yeah, help me out on that a little bit, okay, Joe?
If you get it wrong, I'll try to help you out here.
Yeah, I do make mistakes. I'll admit that.
These guys deserve the credit, and I think, we'll try to do a better job giving them.
They're going to try a quick pop again on first down. Jamvrin gets the ball. They try to hem him inside. They come up and make the tackle. I think it was initially Randy Rich, and then Wes Grace helped out to make the tackle on the play. And there was also good pursuit on the play by Jeff Wilson, who is in there playing defense. I have not mentioned that earlier, but Jeff is playing in there at the linebacker spot some in this ball game, playing with that injury. A gain of about 3, 2nd and 7 coming up as Queer comes in, and Ross Watman is going to come out of the ball game from his end position, and they're going to make a little switch out there. It looks like a 3-man front on this particular play. Is that right? Back to pass. Hammersmith with some time over the middle. Hits his man. Good reaching back catch over the middle by Chamberlain again. He's made several catches in this ball game. Chamberlain and Matt Freebarn have been the pass catchers. It's good for a first down near midfield to the 49-yard line of Clinton.
That was a good job as Chamberlain just found a hole in the middle once again, sat down in it and waited for the pass to get there.
He doesn't float the ball, does he? He puts some zip on those throws over the middle, and I tell you, makes a real good throw out there on those type of passes. going to pitch. Steele's going to get some blocking out front this time. Cuts it up. Stays on his feet. Wilson is in on the tackle. And also Graves is there. And Wilson. Jeff Wilson, that is, after about a 5-yard gain to the 44-yard line of Clinton. 2nd and 5 coming up for Warrensburg. And Steele looking a little bit more like the Steele that we expected on that particular run. And he had some horses out front giving him some blocks that time.
Well, Kyle just about picked up as many yards on that gain as he has had the whole game. 7 carries, 11 yards.
He had a 6'2", 230-pound lineman, Wes Batchelder, in front of him that time. Getting out of the pocket this time and trying to run with the ball is Hammerschmidt. Corralled for a moment by Jamie Queer, and that slowed him down enough that Josh Wilson's able to come up and polish him off. It was Queer who got an arm on him and slowed him down enough out here in the left flat as he tried to run with the football. That slowed him down enough that Wilson was able to polish him off and drop him for a loss of a couple yards on the play. It's 3rd and 7 now coming up for Warrensburg. We're down to 4 minutes right there to go before halftime. Clinton leading 42-6 over Warrensburg-Latham.
The Maroon D had a good push as Dave Lummel just missed a sack barely. And Wilson eventually got it. Queer also had good rushing.
Hammerschmidt back to pass again. Forced out of the pocket. Now he's hammered by David Lemmel, and that pass will be incomplete. Just as he went to throw it, Lemmel hit him from behind and forced the errant pass that went straight into the ground, incomplete. And now we're starting to see Big David put some pressure on there on the quarterback.
Once again, big number 75 just went through that right side of the line, hit the quarterback at the pivotal point in time when he was trying to make the pass. Therefore, the ball just hit the ground as Dave was close to sacking Hammerschmidt. And the Maroons are doing a good job getting to Hammerschmidt and the running backs in the backfield, but we have a flare down here.
Yeah, we have an injury in the Maroons secondary. I believe it's Bob Igems, who's kneeling down at about his own 35-yard line. He's got the helmet off, and I see him drinking some fluids down there, so I'm not sure the extent of the injury, but he's moving around pretty good down there, and I think he's going to be okay, but we'll just wait and see when he gets back up to his feet. He's just in a kneeling position right now.
You hope it's just cramps or something. He did have that big 85-yard run, so he could still be a little tired.
What a terrific run by Bob Igems earlier on the kickoff return. Well, he's kneeling down. He's not really stretching out the legs or anything right now. I don't know if he took a blow to the head or on the helmet. The helmet came off pretty quickly, and it looks like they're attending to him around the face area, maybe, I'm guessing. But they're huddled around him pretty good down there right now, and I can't really tell.
He could have got an eye poked, or he might be out of wind right now. I don't know, but he's getting up now, and that's a good sign for the Maroons.
He'll come off to the sideline at his own power. He appears to be just dandy, and I think we'll see him back in there very, very soon. Let's see who might have slipped in there in his place. I see Schumacher and Graves and Rich, but they're usually in there in the secondary, and Jamie Queer. And Jeff Wilson's in there. Josh Wilson's in there at the other linebacker right now. Of course, Lemmel. Who else is in there in the line right now? In there again for the Maroons in this ball game is Rob Smith, who filled in so nicely last week. Brad Earl is in there at his end position, and I'm missing one more guy along the line here, and I can't see his number. There's a switch made. Wantland's back in. Queer's going to drop back to the safety spot for Igems, so there's your change. Oh, and the other lineman for the Maroons is Chris Dahl. So there's your 11 on defense right now for the Maroons. Back to pass. Hammerschmidt had his man. Nice knockdown play by Josh Wilson. He had to reach back. Mark Hickey had to reach back to grab that pass, but he had it momentarily. But Wilson, chasing from behind, slapped at the ball and knocked it out of his hands, and that brings up first down and 10 now for the Maroons, as that was a 4th down play for Warrensburg-Latham.
If Hammerschmidt hits his man perfectly, that's a completion. But he threw it a little bit behind him, and the Maroon defender was able to knock the ball away before the Warrensburg receiver could gather it in.
Jamie Queer's wide to the right side. I believe it's Lance Taylor wide to the left side. The Maroons will run up the middle this time, and the fullback Clyde Leckett gets the call. Gets it near midfield as the Maroons start this drive at their own 47-yard line. They're to the midfield stripe, 2nd and 7 coming up. I was talking about the coaches a little bit ago, Joe, and Chuck Nagel, the job that he did as he took over as head coach last year and put the team in the playoffs with help from Brian Knutson, Eldon Triesenberg, who's been a coach for the Clinton Maroons for many years now, and Wally Urban. John Hickman's come on board the last few years and has helped out a great deal, and Jerry Wayne and Brett Harris. I remember Brett when he played football for the Maroons. Now I'm starting to show my age, aren't I? Nate Sam's hands off. Leggett gets the call. He's to the 48-yard line of Warrensburg. But not only did these guys prepare this team well physically out there, I mean, teaching them offense and defense and blocking and tackling and how to run the plays and how to defend and so on and so forth. But, you know, there's a mental aspect to this game also, and I think this is where this coaching staff really shines, is the mental aspect and how they get them mentally prepared for each game. They've done a great job this year with that.
And it has shown the first 2 games, as most teams probably would have thought they were out of them.
3rd and 4. excuse me. Here's Sam's on the option. You can finish that in a second. Somehow got the pitch to Conley, but he slipped and fell down at midfield, and the Maroons will be short of the first down. That was an interesting lateral. It kind of looked like it was just thrown over the shoulder of Ryan Conley, and Ryan caught it somehow. But as he went to make his cut up field, and he would have gotten the first down if he could have kept his feet, he slipped and fell down at the 49, lost a yard or so. Go ahead, finish your comment.
Well,
if you can remember where you were before I interrupted you so nicely of me.
Well, it has shown the first two games because most teams might have thought that they were out of the games as the Maroons won with 23 seconds and 9 seconds. And it has shown that the coaching staff believes in this team, and they've got the team believing in themselves.
Under pressure, Sam's with a punt. Good end-over-end kick. Steele will call a fair catch and make it at the 15-yard line. Warrensburg will start 1st and 10 from there. Here's another aspect of this also, though. You win a game at the last second against Olympia. And, you know, you're on top of the world. I mean, you could float on a cloud for a week after that ball game and not really get yourself mentally prepared for the next ball game. But they got them ready for that next ball game, and they were ready to play unity. You win another big game in the last 9 seconds, and you got to regroup again. I mean, you could be floating around going, wow, we've won 2 games in the last second. We're world beaters, man, you know. But no, I mean, these guys are ready to play football when it's time to get out there and hit the football field, and that's a credit to the coaching staff. These are young, impressionable kids like you, and they're doing a great job getting them ready. Here's a pass by Hammerschmidt down the sideline, a little collision out there, and a flag is thrown in the vicinity of Randy Rich, who had good close coverage on the intended receiver, who I believe was Chamberlain again, down the far sideline, and I think that one's going to come against the Maroons.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Randy as he bumped the wide receiver just before the ball got there. To finish what you said about the coaches, yes, these guys are young, and they can get on an emotional high after those close wins, and that shows that they're doing a good job out there because some teams might have had a letdown this week or last week. But I think with this coaching staff, they're going to be prepared well week in, week out, and they've got a chance to win each and every game on this schedule. And I think the Maroons believe they have a chance to win each and every game on this schedule, and that's the big part of the game. You can't think you're out of any game.
Well, they certainly haven't in these first 2 ball games. They've proven that, especially the last ball game. I mean, you could have thought it was over when Unity scored with 49 seconds left. I know, you know, I had a bad feeling in my stomach, but those guys wouldn't quit, and they somehow pulled it out with the winning drive. On 1st and 10 after, the penalty, here's the run, and there's a flag on the play, and it's probably a blocking penalty against Warrensburg as Steele tried to get it out to the left side and got a couple of yards. The line of scrimmage, the 30-yard line, after they pass interference penalty against the Maroons, but now here's a hold coming up against the Cardinals. We're down to a minute and 17 seconds on the clock for the first half of play. Clinton is leading 42-6. Mike Craig, are you just enjoying the view from the front row down there, or do you have anything for us at this point in time? What are you doing down there right now?
Well, I think I have the best seat in the house, really.
You really do. You're standing there. You're really at the wrong end of the field, though. You're standing at the Clinton 35-yard line, and the ball is down there at the Warrensburg 10 now after the holding penalty. But can you see good enough down there?
Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to watch the blocking set up here. It looks like Clinton's running Jamie Queer and Ross Wantland back and forth, depending on if they're going to 3 receivers or not.
Uh-huh. Are we still manhandling him on the line of scrimmage, like you said earlier?
David Lemmel's just blowing off the ball and just knocking people about 3 yards backwards.
Here comes Watland. He couldn't quite get the quarterback. He spins away, and then the quarterback will run out to about the 19-yard line. Watland came in. Nobody touched him, but a nice little ducking move by Hammerschmidt, and he got away and then was able to run it upfield up the near sideline. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 20 near the 19-yard line now for the Cardinals, and they're in this hurry-up, no-huddle offense, and will Queer come in. And Wantland will come out. They make that little change that Mike was referring to a moment ago. Now, Lemmel's lined up on that right-hand side, and we'll kind of keep an eye on him and watch him charge in there here on the 2nd down and 20. He knows it's going to be a pass play. Oh, they chop block him down low. Here's the pass by Hammerschmidt upfield. They're not looking for it, and another diving attempt by one of the Maroons. It's Randy Rich this time to make that interception. Well, Mike, I guess that's one way of keeping Lemmel coming in there. If you chop him down low, that's going to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, but next time you watch what happens.
Yeah, I know. He'll be ready for it next time, won't he?
He was beaten on the ground that time. I don't think he liked that chop block much.
I wouldn't like it if I were him. No, not one bit. I tell you, David's a smart player, too. He's not just a big, strong guy, but he's a very intelligent young man, isn't he? And we'll see what he does on this particular play here. It's a 3rd down and 20 from near the 19-yard line of Warrensburg, and they're down to 20-some seconds to go before halftime. The last couple of plays. Steele's going to try to sweep it out right side. Gets around the corner. It's got a block out front, but runs into his blocker and goes down near the 24-yard line. Steele ran right into his man, and I guess we've got to give Randy Rich some coverage. I believe it was Randy over there on the far side of the field, wasn't it, Mike, who hemmed that one in?
It was Randy Rich. He strung it out real nice and made the tackle over there. With the guy even blocking him, he strung it right out to the sideline and made the tackle himself.
Clock runs out, and we are at halftime. So we'll give Mike Craig a little break as the football teams from both Clinton and Warrensburg will head for the locker room. We'll give Joe Spencer a chance to total up his stats, and he has a lot of stats to total up for the Clinton Maroons especially. At halftime, our score, it's a good one for the Clinton Maroons. They lead Warrensburg-Latham 42-6. Crowd on hand for this ball game tonight. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong switch there. I got to be careful when I'm running my own controls. I shut off my own microphone. That's not a very smart thing to do. Here comes the Clinton M squad onto the field, and we'll be watching them here on the tape-delayed broadcast on Clinton Cable TV. You can enjoy watching their performance. We decided to take our ugly mugs off the TV a little bit tonight. We might pop on here after the ball game, especially if the results continue the way they have been, and we have some fun stuff to talk about when the game's all over. But I just want you to know that Joe has improved his attire, which you can check out on the post-game show. He has his playoff sweatshirt on from last year, although he's still wearing a Bears hat. And I am back with the lucky dress look with my maroon tie. So it worked last week, and it looks like it's doing a pretty good job again this week. Here's the M squad, and while you watch them on TV and we hear their music in the background here on radio, let's do a quick recap of this first half of play and run down the scoring plays real quick here, Joe. I'll do that real quick because there were a lot of them. It's 42-6 in favor of Clinton. They scored all the points in the first quarter, 28 points in the first quarter. The scoring plays were at 9:45 to go in the first quarter of play. Ryan Schumacher picked off an errant pass, went 32 yards for a touchdown. Kick good by Carl Kortz. Just assume after every Clinton touchdown, the kick was good by Carl Kortz because, yes, he was 6 of 6 on the conversion attempts. 6:44 to go in the first quarter of play. Nate Sams ran 54 yards for a touchdown. 14-0 Clinton. 2:28 to go. Ryan Conley goes 73 yards for a touchdown. 21-0 Clinton. 16 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. Nate Sams, quarterback keeper, 2 yards. 28-0 Clinton at the end of the first quarter of play. Warrensburg got on the board early in the second quarter of play. Good sustained drive. 9:53 to go in the second quarter of play. Hammerschmidt hits, I want to make sure I get the right one because there's 2 of them on the team, 2 with the same last name. He hit Matt Freeburn with the pass of 5 yards, and they missed the kick afterwards. 28-6 in favor of Clinton. 16 seconds later, Bob Igens picked up the kickoff near the near sideline, returned it 85 yards for a touchdown, and the Maroons answered quickly. 35-6 in favor of Clinton, and they iced it here in the first half of play on a 12-yard pass play from Sams to Ryan Schumacher at 6:14 to go before halftime to make it 42-6 Clinton, our halftime score. Joe, a lot of offense tonight for the Clinton Maroons. A lot of scoring, a lot of offense in this game.
The Maroons have 157 yards rushing on 11 rushes, an average of 14.3 yards a rush.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. They've only thrown 1 pass. That was a touchdown pass to Ryan Schumacher. He delayed off the line a little bit, much like Chris Gedney in the Bears game with Kramer, as he found the hole after a few seconds of staying on the line, found a hole in the linebacking for Warrensburg.
So on the ground and a little bit through the air. Nate Sams threw for 4 touchdowns last week, and he's added some more in this game this week.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, he threw for 1, obviously, to Schumacher.
Right.
Big point now. Ryan Conley, 82 yards on 5 rushes.
Well, of course, he got the big 73-yard run for the touchdown that really helped out those statistics as the M squad has finished their performance here. How about the Maroons' defense? Much improved over last week's game against Unity, and they have handled Mr. Steele and company pretty well in this ball game.
The Warrensburg-Latham vaunted rushing attack only has 33 yards, Steele with only 15, Freeburn with 1 in 3 attempts, and Hammerschmidt 13, Janvrin 4 for total 33. They have passed a lot more than they have the first 2 games, as Hammerschmidt's put the ball up 15 times, completed 8 for 91 yards. His big receiver, once again, Tim Chamberlain, 41 yards. But up to this point, the Maroons have kept Warrensburg-Latham under wraps for most of the game.
And penalties have haunted Warrensburg during this ball game. They have been penalized quite a few times in this ball game so far. 7 times you've got it for what, about how many yards? 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, about 55 yards in a quick total of Joe's stats. In penalties, the Maroons 3 times for 30 yards, it looks like. So a little better ratio in that category in this ball game compared to the past 2 for the Clinton Maroons. And it shows in the scoreboard, doesn't it? The Maroons up 42 32-6 here at half. Except this time not as close to the sideline. Cuts the center of the field again. Has an opening. Gets a little block and is caught from behind and brought down. Good strong tackle from behind by Corey Janvrin. Kept him from going the distance this time, and the Maroons will start at their own 38-yard line. 1st and 10 with the first possession of the second half.
Yeah, but once again, the 38-yard line is a nice place to start out your drive. And Clinton has had the benefit of the doubt when it has come to the field position.
We note Bob Igens making that return. Apparently he's fine. You know, he went down there late in the second quarter of play, but he's back in there and playing just fine. Here's Nate Sams handing off. It's Clyde Leggett putting his head down after he popped through the line of scrimmage, but not much of a gain on that particular play. Leggett, I think, you know, Clyde's kind of an interesting story. Young man from Wapella. Went to school at Wapella his freshman year. Transferred to Clinton for his sophomore year, but the IHSA ruled that he wasn't eligible to play sports, unfortunately for him, his sophomore year. So he had to sit out football, had to sit out basketball, and I think he had a desire to play both. I know he had a desire to play football, but now he's playing his first football season for the Clinton Maroons as a varsity football player. He tried to lay down a block out front for Conley, but here's Warrensburg coming out of the locker room, and they're putting on some good pursuit here in these first two plays, and they dropped Conley for about a 3 or 4 yard loss. But, you know, you're talking about a guy who's a junior starting at fullback tonight who really doesn't have much varsity experience at all, just the first 2 games so far this year, and he does all right. Yeah. He's a hard-nosed kid. He'll be a good ball carrier and linebacker for this football team this year and next vote.
About the only positive that Clyde did get out of that sitting out of years, it made him hungrier to come back next year and play athletically.
3 wide receivers to the left-hand side, and Sams will instead hand it off up the middle. Leggett's got a big opening. He's got first down yardage and more all the way down to the 46-yard line of Warrensburg Latham. Well, they left him a big gap that time. The Maroons surprised Warrensburg with that trips to the left-hand side and the quick handoff to Leggett up the middle. And he's got pretty good speed for a guy that's got pretty good size, weighs about 180 or whatever. And again, they give him credit to the 47-yard line, first down.
It was a quick trap up the middle, and he put his head down like a battering ram and picked up 15 yards.
He looked like a fullback the way he was running, but with good speed for a fullback. Out of the eye. Hijim's in the slot, right-hand side. Sams turns, hands it off. Clyde Leggett, he's in the secondary again, puts his head down, and Chamberlain grabs him and puts him down, but not until he has another first down to the 36-yard line of Warrensburg. That time, the right side of the line did a good job giving Leggett a big block. And he had one man to beat. Chamberlain made a good sure-handed tackle to prevent him from going all the way that time.
Once again, he got a big gain, 12 yards, as he ran behind the big right side of the Maroons, and he's just ripping off big yardage here right and left. And if he keeps doing that, the Maroons will be in the end zone rather quickly.
From the eye again. Leggett gets the call again, tries the middle. Stutter steps his way inside the 35, and here's a guy diving in late on the play, but I don't see a flag thrown. I thought for a moment there, with the way Shane Reed came jumping in on top of the pile, there might be a flag thrown. A gain of about 3, 2nd and 7 coming up for the Maroons as they move it deep into Warrensburg territory. They're to the 32-yard line of the Cardinals. They make a change defensively. Bart Hickey goes out of the lineup. He's one of their bigger guys. I think he lines up at an end spot. So they've had to make a little change defensively to try to slow down the Maroon attack, which has already scored 42 points. Leggett again up the middle, an opening. And he's down within a couple yards of the first down, inside the 30 and down to about the 26-yard line. And the offensive line is doing a job here for the Clinton Maroons. They started slowly on those first 2 snaps from the line of scrimmage to start the second half, but since then they have been moving the ball down the field now.
Well, the Maroons are staying with what's working, and they're just putting their heads down, running the ball right through the middle. And so far, Warrensburg hasn't stopped them. And, you know, putting the ball on the ground is eating up clock, and with the big lead, that's really the main opponent for the Maroons right now.
Let's get the game over. Let's keep it moving. Oh, bat snap from center. It popped up in the air twice, and Sam's got it back both times. He won't get the first down. They came charging through there with the snap of the football. The ball went straight up in the air. He reached up, grabbed it, then started to run with it and got hit again. It popped loose again. He grabbed it back again, and fortunately held onto the football, but it brings up 4th down for the Maroons. It was a loss of about 3 or 4 yards on the play. We've got 4th down and at least 4 for a first down. And we're now back to the 30-yard line of Warrensburg, and Clinton appears to be in position to punt the football. Sams is back in a deep shotgun formation, and he is the punter, of course, for Clinton.
Nate showed his toughness on that last play as he had plenty of guys around him. The ball popped free twice, yet he still was strong enough to hold on.
There's a flag before or with the snap of the football, I guess I should say. I like the way the official stepped in front of Nate Sams to make sure he didn't get hit by the Warrensburg players charging in there. Procedure penalty against the Maroons. That'll back him up 5 yards, but doesn't really hurt the punting situation that much. They were pretty deep in the Warrensburg territory. Well, this is a good start for Warrensburg when it looked like the Maroons were going to move the football down the field, maybe put more points on the board. They get the aid of a bad snap, and their defense is able to hold, and they're going to prevent the Maroons from scoring in this possession. That hasn't happened too much tonight.
Actually, the procedure call might end up helping the Maroons as it gives them more of a chance to...
They're coming to get the punt. Sams gets it away, though, but they didn't have anybody deep. Now, Igems will try to keep it from going in the end zone, and it trickles across. I don't know if he had a hand on it or not, but he was pointing, I think, to Ryan Conley. Oh, and they say he did down it at the 3. He touched it at the 3-yard line. He didn't control it there, but the officials are going to give him the downing at the 3-yard line. Now, it looks like they're still discussing it a little bit. The ball really wasn't stopped from rolling, and it trickled into the end zone. But so far, they're huddling down there talking about it, but so far it stands as a ball down at the 3-yard line, and Warrensburg will have to start deep in their own territory, and that's the way it's going to stand. So credit to Bob Igems with good coverage on the punt.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
No,
to.
I'm not blaming you because you had to do the kick, but I was going to say it gives the Maroons a good chance to down it.
Well, they'll try to punch it out of the hole, and they'll try it on the ground. Janvrin trying at the right side. They had him slow down enough. The whistles blow, and Igems and Jeff Wilson in on the tackle after a gain of about 3 or 4 yards on the play. They punch it out from the 3 out to about the 7 or so as they line up in the hash mark. 2nd and 6 coming up for Warrensburg-Latham. It's still 42-6 Clinton. We're in the 3rd quarter of play, nearing the halfway point, but not quite there to the halfway point. Again, they run out of that no-huddle offense. And quarterback Dustin Hammerschmidt looking things over, has the football, hands it off. They'll try the right side and get a little bit of an opening and first down yardage, and a good strong run that time by Matt Freeman. He's been around the football a lot in this ball game. Has caught some passes, and that time with a good run gets the first down yardage out beyond the 15-yard line. Now I look over the Maroons defense, and it looks like the starting defense still in there, even though they lead 42-6. And I thought, well, maybe they'll try to get some other guys in there and rest some of these starters. But with that sizable lead right now, it's the starting crew in there right now.
Well, I think maybe 1 or 2 more series. If it stays like this, you will see the reserves.
Warrensburg's run it well in their first 2 plays. Hammerschmidt, though, this time didn't get rid of the football, and it's Brad Earl who grabs him and throws him down to the ground for a loss on the play. Grabbed him by the shirt tail, stayed with him, and whipped him down for a 5-yard loss, so that'll bring up a 2nd down and 15 or 14 to go for a first down for the Cardinals. Brad Earl with a big play.
That was a good play by Brad Earl as Hammerschmidt rolled out to the right side, and Earl just met him in the backfield for a 5-yard loss for a sack.
Again, they'll try the run, and this time Steele gets an opening, tries to cut it outside. Caught from behind. Igems comes up to help out Schumacher on the tackle, and there's a flag on the play, a holding call against Warrensburg. And the most reaction came for Todd Hughes of Warrensburg-Latham, the 230-pound junior lineman. Didn't like the call, didn't think he held, but he's called, I believe, for the infraction for the Cardinals.
Well, I don't know what he's complaining about because I saw him, and he obviously rode the Maroon down. He was trying to catch the running back in the backfield to make a tackle, but that was an obvious hold from where I saw it.
Where'd Mr. Sideline go? Anyway, you know, he said something about getting something to drink or eat or something. You're supposed to do that at halftime and get back out here and get to work. Is he still eating right now? I don't know. I'm not going to even turn on his microphone because I don't want anybody to hear him eating his hot dog and drinking his beverage down there. But we'll check with him. You know, he might have run off with our microphone, Phil. You might have to chase him down from behind. 2nd and about 20 coming up for Warrensburg after the penalty. And they get an opening on the right side, but a good tackle by Randy Rich staying with it out there. Brings down Steele this time as he gets about 8 of those penalty yards back, maybe closer to the 10 penalty yards. We'll wait and see where they give them to. About the 13-yard line. 3rd down and 13 coming up now for the Cardinals. Maroons are giving up some yardage on the ground now, much more so than they did in the first half of play.
Yeah, but I think that's about to be expected as they're getting a little tired. Plus, Warrensburg really killed themselves at the beginning.
Hammerschmidt back to pass, throws it over the middle. Good hard tackle and intercepted by Schumacher on a deflection. Igems was the one who knocked it up in the air. Schumacher on a return. There's a flag on the play. Is down inside the 5 and in for the touchdown. But wait, this one may come back. There is a flag thrown. That was a defensive play by Bob Igems who hit Chamberlain on the pass, knocked the ball up in the air. There is a holding on the return against the Maroons, but Schumacher's interception will stand. Schumacher will get the pick, get his 2nd interception of the ball game. Unfortunately for Ryan, he wanted his 2nd touchdown return on an interception of the night, but instead he'll have to stick with 1.
Well,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, it was the first pass attempt for Hammerschmidt. He got it picked off by Schumacher. That's the second one Schumacher's gotten to tonight. As 3 interceptions for Hammerschmidt, and that's his first 3 of the season. Ryan did a good job there as he caught it off a deflection by Bobby, who also made a nice play. He knocked the ball away from the Warrensburg receiver, and Ryan showed good concentration as he picked the ball up at about the 27, I believe, and ran it in the end zone, but there was the clipping penalty.
Weaving his way back and forth with somebody out front. Got called for the penalty, and so it comes back. But Bob Eigens again with another defensive play that time. I mean, he was the one that hit Chamberlain and knocked it up in the air. And that was a great catch by Schumacher at his ankles. Here's Clyde Leggett up the middle, running hard. Is whipped down from behind after he pulls tacklers along. I mean, he had a big guy there, Keith Harris, who's 6'3", 180 pounds for Warrensburg, hanging on to him. He was pulling him along for extra yardage and got about 7 yards on the carry.
Well, I talked to Clyde during school, and he said he was excited about getting a chance to play fullback, and he has shown it as he has looked like a horse. As he's no big, complicated scheme, just running the ball up the middle. He's putting his head down, and he's gaining pretty big yardage each run.
You know, he had to change uniform numbers to play that position. He had to get down there into a running back number. There's a fumble on the snap. Sam's got it back. It was loose on the ground for a moment. Sam's gets it back, a loss of a yard, 3rd and 4. You know, he started the season wearing number 50. But the first 2 ball games, but they had to put number 32 on him for this ball game so he could carry the football from the running back spots. And he's wearing that 32 very well this week, isn't he?
Yes, he's doing a very good job. And Clyde, I can't say much than keep plugging along here, bud, and hopefully you'll get a touchdown as well.
He might get one here if they can get it down close to the goal line. It's a 3rd and 4 coming up for Clinton. They're up tight on the line. They get the handoff to Clyde, though, and he's into the clear now in the secondary. Breaks another tackle. Here it is, Joe. Clyde Leggett, touchdown. Hey, nice call, Joe. 24-yard run. He broke a couple of tackles on that play and then sprung into the clear. Nate Sams got that handoff just in a nick of time. They were bearing down on Nate Sams as he was handing off the football, but once he got it to Clyde, Clyde was, well, not quite off to the races, but after he sprung that last tackle, he was off to the races and ran it the last 15 yards in clear air.
Well, that was a good point, Larry, as Warrensburg was bearing down on Clinton. It was a delayed draw to the left side, and Clyde did a good job of getting rid of that blocker, as you said, and he just ran in the end zone. And good job, Clyde, and he got his first touchdown. Everybody's getting
now the biggest question was whether he was going to go 7 for 7, but no, this time it doesn't come off cleanly, and Carl Kortz doesn't get a chance to kick the ball. Nate Sams had to eat it. He's dropped for a loss, so no extra point this time. But timeout on the field, 4 minutes, 14 seconds to go. In our 3rd quarter of play, Clinton has the lead of 48-6. Carl Kortz might have to go on the DL after this game with a tired right leg as he kicks off again. It's just a vicious rumor. Here's the return by Warrensburg, and again the Maroons swarming and making the tackle on the attempted return by Matt Freeborn. Carl's had to kick that ball a lot tonight with between the extra points and the kickoffs. But I tell you what, it's nice to have a weapon like him that can put the ball down the field farther than most of your average high school kickoff men. Right, Joe?
Yes, Carl is doing a very good job as he's Warrensburg's averaging, I'd guess, about 10 to 15 yards behind Clinton in field position.
Yeah.
And, you know, that just shows how good he is, and he's really putting Warrensburg in a hole to start with. Plus, they got behind, so really Warrensburg has to go to an element they're not used to.
This time they start at their own 25, and they'll try the right side with the run and a gain of a couple of yards on the play. See if the Maroons get some new jerseys in there. I think they've got some new guys in there on defense. So, Joe, if you can help me out, pick up some of these guys that are getting some playing time now for Clinton. I see Ryan Fair in there lined up at an end position. For those watching the replay on TV, he's wearing 89. He's a 6 foot, 185-pound junior. And Shane Van Fossen, is he in there? Shane might be in there now. He's a senior, 5'10", 160 pounds. Gain of about 3 yards on the first down play. 2nd and 7 coming up. Yeah, Shane's lined up there at the corner on defense in the secondary. Not much of a gain there for Warrensburg. I also see in the ball game now Ryan Black. Ryan's a senior, 5'10", 145 pounds. I guess I want to go ahead and continue giving some of these uniform numbers. Van Fossen's wearing 81. This isn't helping our radio listeners out too much, but people watching the replay on TV can. I mentioned Black. He's wearing 86, and there's Rusty Carr coming in. He's wearing 68, and Rusty is a 6 foot, 160-pound senior, I believe. Yep. So now on 3rd down and about 9. Quick pass. They've got the completion in the flat. Freeborn trying to bring it upfield, but caught from behind by a guy who's got pretty good speed in Josh Wilson. Josh is just a sophomore, but he's getting a lot of playing time this year. And he came up there quickly and caught up with Freeborn when it looked like Freeborn could run for a first down and still stopped him 5 yards short of the first down. And Warrensburg appears we'll have to punt the football again.
Wilson did a great job as Freeburn was completely open. It was just a quick pass out in the flat. It's more of an extension of the running game than it is a really hard pass. But Josh sprinted from the middle of the field all the way to that left side.
Here's Hammerschmidt with the low snap. Gets the boot away, though. End-over-end kick. Schumacher calls a fair catch. Fumbled the football. Warrensburg's going to get the recovery. Hit him high in the shoulder pads. He misplayed the ball. And Warrensburg gets an easy recovery there about the 43-yard line. The last man off the pile with the football is Phil Netherly. They had 3 guys there that were fighting over who's going to get the jump on top of that football. So, unfortunately, the Maroons with a turnover. And what is that, the first turnover of the ball game by Clinton?
Yes.
It is.
Yes, it is.
They have played very, very good football tonight. Ryan just misplayed. He wanted to just fair catch it at about the 40, but it hit him up high on the pads. Went through his hands, hit his pads, and went straight back toward the Warrensburg guys charging down the field.
There's really nothing he could do on that play.
Not once it hit his pads. Ooh, and David Lemmel in a hurry jumps off sides. All right, we got to stay in this thing mentally, even though, and that's easy for me to say, we're up 48-6. I mean, how do you stay mentally sharp when you're, controlling things the way you are? But you don't want to get too careless out there. There's a minute 45 to go into third quarter of play. Clinton's leading 48-6, but they've made a few little mistakes here now.
Really?
Go ahead. And I was just going to say, in Warrensburg with good field position, they're at the 37-yard line with a 1st and 5.
Believe me, if there's one thing Coach Nagel's not going to stand for, it's mental mistakes, and I'm sure Maroons will correct it soon.
Hammerschmidt fakes the handoff, fires it down the right sideline. He's got a man there. It's Steele, makes the catch. Jamie Queer hanging on for dear life, brings him down at the 12. Good reception that time by Steele, who looked back and watched that one all the way in. It was underthrown a little bit, and Queer wasn't able to pick up the football in time to knock it away. Steele makes the catch and has Warrensburg in position for possibly their second touchdown of the game, down at the 12 or 13-yard line, a 1st and 10.
Well, the defender there didn't see the ball, and that ball kind of hung up in the air. Steele waited for it to come down, and it was a good pass play that got about 21.
Well, Steele made it go by watching that football and waiting on it and making the catch, and then a good run afterwards. So from near the 13-yard line, we'll call it, on a 1st and 10 for Warrensburg in Maroon territory. Now moving deep into Maroon territory. Little fumble on a snap, but he gets the pitch away, and Freebarnes moving up the middle of the field. Ijams grabs him, but not until he gets it down inside the 5, down to about the 2 or maybe the 1-yard line. Very close to a score there for Warrensburg. Matt Freebarnes on the quick pitch left, cut it straight up the field and gets it down close to the goal line. And they're going to have 1st and goal at about the 1 as we're still down to about a minute 20 to go in this third quarter of play.
They ran off the left tackle, and Freebarnes showing his speed, and he got quickly down to the 1 for a 12-yard gain.
Warrensburg showing some offense. A spurt in the second quarter of play, and now one here late in the third quarter of play. Quarterback keeper this time. And is he in there? The quarterback trying to get it in there. No signal yet from the officials. And apparently, well, there's a late signal. Hammerschmidt has crossed the goal line and has Warrensburg's second touchdown, Warrensburg-Latham's second touchdown of the night. They closed the gap to 48-12 in favor of Clinton on that 1-yard quarterback keeper. Not much to say about that. Just a good push by their offensive line. A long delay before the official finally gave it to them, but they finally determined Hammerschmidt was across the goal line for the score.
It was really close as he just barely got over. That's why the referee made that delayed call. As you said, just a good push by the Warrensburg offensive line.
They'll go for 2 on the conversion. Again, the pitch. Freebarn cuts it upfield, though, but Josh Wilson is there. Bob Ijams, I believe, was there. Yes, it was Bob down to the bottom of the pile that helped out on the tackle. And the Maroons stopped the extra point attempt by Warrensburg-Latham. Another timeout on the field. We're not having any trouble getting in commercials for our sponsors this week, are we? We'll take a break with the time waning in the third quarter play and Clinton leading 48-12.
When it's time for retirement, will you be ready? With rising income to stay ahead of inflation, strategies to minimize taxes, cash reserves for unexpected expenses, financial security to enjoy the retirement you deserve. It's never too early to start planning for retirement. Edward D. Jones & Company has the solutions you need. For convenient personal service, call your local investment representative today.
Well, right now the Maroons are looking like winners. They're leading 48-12 over Warrensburg-Latham, but the Cardinals hanging in there has scored their second touchdown of the ball game. And again, we see their coach, Ken Hatcher, on the far sideline. He hasn't quit. He and his coaching staff still encouraging their football team and trying to get them to rally, although it would be a tremendous rally from this type of deficit. But they want to go home at least looking better in the scoreboard. by the time this one is all over. Not a real long kick. It's going to take a bounce for Warrensburg. Conley fields it at the 12. Waits for him to get close. Now tries to cut it upfield, but they corral him, much like the Maroons were doing on kickoff coverage, and drop him way deep at about the 12-yard line as he ran from the far sideline toward the middle of the field, but never got the hole he needed to cut it upfield.
Well, Conley had a little trouble picking that ball up, and that's why the defenders were able to get down there to tackle him, as they had plenty of time to cover that play.
Mike Craig, I see, has made it back to the sideline. Mike, how was the hot dog?
Hey, that was a pretty good hot dog.
Is that what you had down there during your little break? You were gone for a quarter of football. Where you been?
No, just had one sody. I'm down here with Cameron. We're talking about Warrensburg's kind of got the winds out of their sail now, I think. Even though they did score, when they go back to get ready to set their play, they're standing there and their arms are down at their sides. The wind's out of their sails. I think they've been licked.
It looked like the Mike. It looked like the Maroons.
I think we're going to start seeing some second team guys here now on offense for sure. So that'd be good to see some people you haven't seen too much of in different positions.
I didn't know you were going to carry on an interview down there with Cameron.
Hey, why not carry on an interview? Cameron knows what he's doing.
That's true. That's true. You know, even though he's the big news editor now, he still knows how to cover sports a little bit, I'm sure. Hey, we're getting some new jerseys in there, it looks like. Yeah, Cameron, we're on the air. Could tell him to be quiet for a second so I can talk to you, all right?
Okay.
I saw some new uniform numbers in there. We're getting some clean shirts in there, some guys getting some experience.
I want a microphone.
That's good for this football team, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it is. They need to get some of these younger guys some experience. In case there is an injury and somebody goes down, they need to have somebody that can fill that spot. Kind of like Josh Wilson's done on defense.
Right.
You talk about playing a game. He's been all over the field.
Yeah,
he's covering it sideline to sideline.
Yeah, I say on defense, Wilson's been over it more than anyone.
Yeah.
Maroons football, 1st and 10. You hear Cameron Mon and Mike Craig, our two sideline reporters. Cameron's now getting busy with the camera now to take some pictures for the Journal. He got some good pictures last week. Here's Wilson, the man we were talking about, breaking into the clear. Good, strong run all the way out beyond the 30. Mike, that's just what you were talking about.
Are we on the spot or what?
I tell you what, you were Johnny on the spot on that call because Wilson, you know, he's not real big, but they like to use him as a fullback. But he's got good quickness for a kid that plays that position, and he really hustles on defense, too.
Well, they're calling him 180 pounds.
Is that right?
Yeah, about 5'10", 180 pounds. When he's a senior, he ought to be a 200, 210-pound fullback. He ought to be tough.
Well, I hope that doesn't slow him down because he's got good quickness right now.
I hope not either, but he's probably your defensive player of the game right now.
33-yard line for Clinton after the first down run by Josh Wilson of, I don't know, somewhere in the vicinity of 20 yards or so on that particular carry. Now the Maroons with two men split in the backfield, one wide receiver right side. And we've changed quarterbacks, by the way, in there also. So I guess I ought to pick up on that and make sure I got everything covered. Is that Kevin McCleary who's checked in at the quarterback spot, Joe?
Yes, and Greg Gall is also checked in.
All right, so the Maroons are here getting some other players some playing time in the last few seconds of the third quarter. As a matter of fact, the clock's going to run out. So we'll take a break. We're at the end of 3 quarters of play. And Clinton has a healthy lead over Warrensburg-Latham by a score of 48-12. More and more people are shopping Dave's Food Basket. Let's ask our customers why.
Easy to get to, the prices are good, the clerks are all friendly, and it's a clean store, and I like the prices. They have double coupons every day, so it doesn't matter when you get groceries.
It's a nice, friendly, clean store.
Very courteous. I'm well pleased.
I think your produce department is wonderful, and the frozen food is really great for me.
There you have it. More good reasons to shop Dave's Food Basket. Again, a reminder to everyone that tomorrow morning at 9:30 on WHOW Radio, Coach's Corner with Coach Chuck Nagel and myself. We'll talk about this ball game. Try to shoehorn again as much information about this ball game in, and then talk about next week's ball game against Monticello from 9:30 to about 9:45. Coach's Corner on WHOW Radio, and that's heard every Saturday morning during the football season. So for those of you watching the video replay, and we've already had our show about Warrensburg and talking about Monticello coming up, you can tune in each week at 9:30 and hear the coach's comments about the past game and the upcoming game each week on WHOW Radio. Well, Joe, 3 quarters down. We only scored 6 that quarter, so we're off our pace now, but game's still well in control right now for the Maroons, and getting some guys some playing time in there right now. This is great to see.
Yeah, I saw the guy interviewed in there, Lance Taylor. He's getting...
Lance is in there. He gets some playing time with the starters a lot. Here's Randy Rich out of the backfield. He slipped and went down for no gain. Yeah, you mentioned the fact that Greg Gall is in there at, I think, a wideout spot. Let's see, who else do we have in there? John Fenton seeing some playing time at a line spot. 6 foot, 200-pound senior. Who else do we see in there? T.J. Warden. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 200 pounds. He's wearing 61. In from the sideline is Shane Van Fossen and also Ryan Fair. Coming out of the ball game is Ryan Black. And the quarterback, Kevin McCleary. He's a junior, 5'9", 160 pounds, wearing number 20. You don't see number 20 in a quarterback too often, but that's what we've got here. On 3rd and 11, they'll try to run, and Warrensburg pouring through there. Josh Wilson, uh-oh, ball came loose. I think the Maroons, somebody for the Maroons, I think picked that one out of the air cleanly, I believe. And it'll be 4th down coming up if the Maroons retain possession. But Wilson with excellent second effort, but kind of exposed himself as far as that football in his arms, got a charge, and it's knocked it straight up in the air. The Maroons did recover. 4th down and 11 coming up, and the Maroons will have to punt the football, it appears.
Yeah, you like to see the effort by the running backs, but sometimes when they're trying to use that second effort and get that other push, they leave the ball unprotected a little bit, and that's when you see those would-be fumbles.
Nate Sam standing at about his own 20, 21-yard line or so. Awaiting snap from center. So far, he's been able to handle all of them this year. Big rush. Gets the kick away, though. They've got one deep man at Steele, and he just watches it bounce by him. He gave up on it. It'll take a Clinton roll inside to 30 down to about the 28-yard line, and somebody for the Maroons got shoved in the back and knocked down, and I think we'll have a clip coming up on Warrensburg also. Near midfield, there's a flag throw, and that's what I thought I saw as I looked back after watching the football hit on the turf, but we'll wait and see if that's the way the officials saw it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Clipping called against Warrensburg. Somebody in frustration out there just shoved somebody for Clinton that was running downfield on coverage and knocked him to the turf, and so Warrensburg will start even deeper, and again, they don't help themselves with field position here.
Well, yeah, you get those kind of penalties when the score's like this. Players just get a little agitated, and
yeah, it gets frustrating. 10 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the 4th quarter play, and Clinton with a healthy lead. They have led from the very get-go. 48-12 is now the score. Clinton led 28-0 at the end of the 1st quarter of play. They led at halftime 42-6. Our 3rd quarter of play was a exciting 6-6 standoff. And we're in the 4th quarter of play, and they're discussing the penalty right now before Warrensburg will get the football to try to start another drive. And again, the Maroons, I think, will make some substitutions on defense here, and we'll pick them up for you in a moment.
Yeah, a lot of the guys getting some new playing time here, and it's good to get them in the games because they practice, and they're the guys that make the starters good, too, by practicing with them and competing for their jobs.
What are we going to do? We're going to kick off again? I don't understand what we're doing here. We're moving back down. I think the Maroons are going to kick off again. That's the way the officials have interpreted this penalty. And so, let's wait and see. They signal the clip against Warrensburg-Latham. On the punt by the Clinton Maroons. Well, I think that what that means is the Maroons are going to retain possession of the football and get an automatic first down.
So apparently the foul was, or the penalty was made before the...
Well, nobody returned the ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he let it roll to a dead stop. So the penalty did occur. And before any return, so I guess it does come, and the Maroons retain possession of the football because of that. Hey, that's a good point, Joe. I knew there was a reason why we had you around here, not just for your amazing stat-keeping ability. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. You're really enthused now. I think you're kind of run down by all these points that have been scored early in the ballgame. They wore you out with all the scoring.
Well, it's not going to come down to the last 9 seconds.
Oh, you know, that is a little disappointing. But personally, I needed a game like this. I needed a break. Because my heart just couldn't take a whole lot more. That's all there is to it. The Maroons were going to start from the 49-yard line, 1st and 10 after the penalty, but then they commit a penalty, a procedure penalty. So they're back 5 yards, 1st and 15 from their own 44-yard line. But you're right. Barring an amazing comeback by Warrensburg here, where they just go crazy and score a bunch of touchdowns in a very short period of time, we're not going to need a last-second touchdown this week. They're not going to be able to top their last-second performances of the last 2 weeks. McCleary on the handoff and not going anywhere. Josh Wilson stopped at the line of scrimmage. The new guys on the offensive line aren't quite getting the blocks they need to spring anybody loose here. And this would not be a good time to start pointing out who's in the ball game, so I'll wait a minute on that, because it sounds like I'm picking on him, and I didn't mean to say that and put it that way. But, we do have, I see Nick Jones is in there. He's a 6'2", 185-pound senior. Let's see, who else did I see in there in a line that I haven't mentioned already? I saw when we were lining up on defense, Josh Weiss, who's a 6'3", 190-pound senior, out on the field. I don't know if he's out there right at this moment, but he was in preparation to go on defense. No, he's on the sideline right now, but he'll be back in there when we go on defense. There's a fumble. It got loose from Wilson on the handoff, and Warrensburg has recovered the football. so they'll get it back anyway. On the recovery was Brandon Schott. And they recover the ball at the 43-yard line of Clinton, so now the defense will go back in there.
Well, you get those kind of plays with the new players coming in, and you know, the game is, as we said, pretty much decided.
Just a little out of sync so far. The offense unable to get it going out there with a new quarterback and, you know, some new linemen, as you said. Warrensburg with their first-string offense still in there. Quarterback keeper gets around the corner, gets first down yardage and more before he's slung down out of bounds inside the 30. And where did they spot him down? The official's still walking. I'm waiting to see how much forward progress they're going to give him. All the way close to the 25-yard line, it looked like, before he was run out of bounds. So Dustin Hammerschmidt has Warrensburg at first down. Now they bring it back closer to the 28-yard line, it looks like. 1st and 10 for Warrensburg as they move it deeper into Clinton territory.
Yeah, that was a good run by Hammerschmidt. He just ran across the left side on a little sweep there.
And misdirection. Steele has an opening. He's still trying to get his name in the scorebook in this ball game. Stays on his feet. Good hard run. Gets about 9 hard-fought yards before the Maroons cover up on him. Ryan Black was in on the tackle. We saw Rusty Carr there also to help out and make the stop, and probably a couple of others that we didn't catch. And he's got enough for a first down. He got the 10 yards needed for a first down. Inside the 20 and down to about the 18-yard line. A 10-yard pickup for Steele, who in this ball game has not had a whole lot of yardage. That is about his best run for the line of scrimmage, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, that is his.
Is that the best one?
Yeah, that's his most, 10 yards.
So they handed off this time. They did so to the right side, and that time the Maroons covered pretty well. Good defensive play that time by a couple of young men for Clinton. One was Randy Rich, that's still playing in there, and the other was Chris Brady, who's seeing some. No, excuse me. I think instead that was Rusty Carr, who was in on that tackle.
And the Maroons have did a good job keeping Steele under wraps, as he's averaged 119 yards a game over the first 2 games, and he has 35 now.
A gain of a yard. It's 2nd and 9 for Warrensburg. In the 4th quarter play, Clinton with a big lead. And a couple of yard carry that time. Good diving tackle by Ryan Black on the ball carrier Corey Janvrin that time. He got about 3 more yards. 3rd and about 6 coming up for Warrensburg. Let's check the clock. We're down to 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the contest. Clinton is leading 48-12 and playing some backups in here on defense in the last few minutes of the ball game. And Warrensburg moving the ball some. They're down to the 13-yard line with a 3rd and about 6. And they'll fake it up to the handoff and then try to throw over the middle. Got a man deep in the end zone. Can he catch it? Oh, he dropped it. Tried to make the over-shoulder catch, but Chamberlain in the back of the end zone couldn't quite pull it in. It dropped to the ground incomplete. 4th down and 6 coming up. That was a good call by Warrensburg. They beat the defense, but Chamberlain just couldn't quite make the over-the-shoulder catch.
Yeah, they sent 3 guys deep down the field. It was just a fly pattern and trying to get somebody open for the touchdown. Hammerschmidt led him a little bit too much, as I think even if he had caught the ball, he might not have come in bounds. I don't know. It looked pretty deep in that end zone.
On 4th and 6, Hammerschmidt trying to keep this drive alive. Will hand it off to Steele. His money man, Josh Wilson, grabs him from behind and drags him down. Nice tackle by Wilson. He slipped up there through the line, grabbed him around the legs, and drug him to the ground. And Warrensburg has stopped short of the first down, and Clinton will take over on offense here. We're still well over half of this 4th quarter of play to go. And these guys getting some valuable experience. We see some of these guys like Josh Weiss coming off the field. And, oh, let's see, Rusty Carr. Some of these, guys that you haven't seen too much out there. Ryan Fair. Nice job on defense on that series.
Yeah, and Kyle Steele, that's been the story of the game, as the Maroons have really just dominated him, as he's under 40 yards rushing on the game.
Under quarterback again is Kevin McCleary. The Maroons start deep, about their own 11-yard line. Again, they try to run. Nothing fancy here, and it goes for nothing again. This time it's Randy Rich who gets the call and immediately runs into 2 yellow jerseys. Offensively now, with this second unit, I guess we can call them, not much happening down there.
Well, basically, they're just trying to have the equivalent of a kneel down just to run the clock. They just want to get some running plays in there for these new guys. If they break one, it'll be one of the highlights of their experiences out here. Sure. But they're just trying to eat clock right now with this big lead.
It'd be nice to get some yardage, though. They've been stopped at the line of scrimmage the last several times. We see James Trimble. He's wearing 34 tonight coming into the lineup, and he lines up in there. McCleary, well, he acted like he wanted to pitch, but he keeps the football, and he got it back maybe to the line of scrimmage or a yard beyond. We'll see what kind of forward progress they give him. Just to the line of scrimmage, it looks like. I thought he was going to pitch it, but instead he kept the football. 3rd and about 9.5. He did get about a half-yard pickup on the play. Out at about the 11-yard line for Clinton. Clinton with the healthy lead of 48-12 and just trying to cruise in here.
I think Kevin made a good decision. He was a little undecided to pitch it, so he just kept it and ate it. You know, you don't want to have a fumble here this close to the Maroons' end zone, and I think it was a good decision.
One wide receiver each way. Van Fossen to the left side. I didn't pick up the other to the right side. They pitch it in the backfield. Rich has got some running room. Shows good quickness. He won't make the first down, but he did get some forward yardage of about 5 or 6 yards or so before he's brought down. That's a good offensive run that time for the Maroons. It brings up 4th down and 5, though, and they'll have to punt the football from pretty deep in their own territory. And Nate Sams handles that chore 100% of the time, at least so far this year, and he's back in there to do the chore one more time.
And I might add, he's doing a very good job. As he hasn't been blocked this year, and you know, guys have come pretty close, but he's got it off over him.
Yeah, had some short kicks last week, but he's getting some foot into it this week downfield. He got a lot of height on him last week. Here they come charging again, and again he gets the boot away. Good end-over-end kick again. Fair catch is called for and made at the 44-yard line of Clinton for the Cardinals, and that was Steele. And again, you know, he prevents Steele from making any kind of return here. And I expected this guy to possibly just run wild out there. Not necessarily criticizing our defense, but man, it sounded like he was all everything, and he may still be. But so far, the Maroons have kept him under wraps on kickoff or punt returns, I should say, and from the line of scrimmage very well.
Well, I don't think it would show any disrespect against the Maroon defense because the guy's averaging 119 yards a game.
Had a great year last year also, right?
Yeah, I mean...
He takes a pitch here. I'll let you finish that comment in a moment. He did get about 8 yards on that carry. He kept running hard, bounced off an attempted tackle after about a 3-yard gain, and was able to get it out to within a yard or so of a first down. I think they'll have about 2nd down and 2 coming up. But, yeah, 1,200 yards or thereabouts last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he had just over 1,200, and he was a proven guy. He burned the Maroons a little bit last year, so they're doing a better job against him this year.
Justin Hammerschmidt under center, dropping back, throwing it deep downfield. He's got a man down there, makes the catch, and I think he's going to go in for the score. They beat the defense that time. Josh Wilson gives chase, but it'll go for a touchdown. A touchdown pass and catch of about 36 yards to Matt Freeburn. And Warrensburg has their 3rd touchdown of the night. He was pretty much wide open behind the Maroon defense. As I said, Josh Wilson was the man that was trying to cover him out of the backfield and give chase, but he couldn't catch him. And that's been their money man tonight, really. Instead of what number does... I've lost
20
it.
is
Instead of number 20, thank you. It's been number 15 in this ball game tonight, it seems like.
Yeah, Freeburn has made now 5 catches, and he's run the ball too. That was just a fly pattern down the left side of the field, and then he was open.
Second touchdown catch too, right? I believe that's a second touchdown catch. They'll try for 2 on the conversion. Quick pop over the middle, off the hand of the intended receiver, and incomplete this time. It was intended for Bart Hickey in the end zone. So we've got timeout on the field one more time. 4 minutes, 34 seconds to go in the ball game, and the lead still belongs to Clinton. They lead by 30 points over Warrensburg Latham, 48-18. Ryan Conley on the return for the Maroons after he took it on a bounce or two, gets out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Clinton. Mike Craig, you were talking with Brian Knutson down there in the sideline during our timeout. Did he give you any good inside information for us?
He's just real happy with the way the team's played on special teams, the way they've covered kicks, and the way they've been hitting people.
Yeah, I think he has to be happy about the play.
And he's your offensive coach.
That's right. That's right. He is. He's got to be happy with the way the offense has moved the football tonight, too, though. I mean,
yeah, really, he has.
They scored, 42 points in the first half. 1 touchdown was by the defense, but the offense did the rest of it, so he's got to be a happy man.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure he'll go back to the drawing board and try to improve upon that, as he should. Here's Randy Rich now, running with the football, and they drop him several yards deep in the backfield. They came shooting through there. Keep in mind now, Warrensburg, I think, still has pretty much their starting defense in there, especially on the line, and the Maroons playing with their second line offense, and they're having trouble moving the football. They lost about 4 yards, 2nd and 14. Clinton just trying to run out the clock here in the ball game.
Well, the thing about that play is that the pitch was received so deep in the backfield that it didn't give Randy much of a chance to get back and try to make a good gain.
2nd and 14 for Clinton. McCleary, the reserve quarterback in there, pitch, and there's a man there. It comes loose, diving for it. I think one of the Maroons got to it first, but we'll wait and see. I think it was McCleary. going back to get the football. He pitched at the Rich, and there was a man in his face when he tried to catch the ball. It knocked the ball loose. Randy didn't have any chance to receive that pitch cleanly. And I think McCleary was the man who went back and jumped on that football to keep it for Clinton. But it's a loss of 5 more yards or so on the play. We've got third and about 19 or 20 yards to go for a first down. And still, you know, there's time left in this ball game for another score from Warrensburg. 3:20 to go in the contest or thereabouts. And they want the football back to try to get a few more points on the board to make this score look more respectable.
Yeah, any chance I'd get to try to do a cosmetic job on the game, I'm sure they'll take. But the Bruins have a good victory here in this one, and it's the first conference win, and you got to love it.
Under center again. McCleary, he's just going to quarterback, keep it out there. Got it upfield about 3 or 4 yards, and that gets it out of the hole a little bit, back to about the 20-yard line. So that'll bring up fourth down, and another punting situation coming up for the Maroons. Mike, get away from Cameron so I can talk to you, because I don't want Cameron, you know, coming in there interrupting the conversation. That's just, he's still yelling at you. He won't stop yelling at you.
He wants to get on the air.
What did you tell me earlier about Mike Mannix? Mike's down there. He's running the footballs in and out of the ball game. Did you say he was worn out in that first half of play?
He was worn out, but he's 4 for 6 on his catches, so he's pretty proud of himself tonight.
He's 4 for 6 on catches.
Yeah, 4 for 6. There's the ball.
Steele tried to fair catch it. Will the Maroons recover? Ryan Conley does.
Yes.
All right. All right. I got the sideline call for Mike Craig down there on that one. It was a good punt by Sams. Again, he was under pressure. Steele was the only man back. He ran to his right trying to make the catch on the football. It was a tough try to catch the football. Hit him in the arms, bounded away, and Ryan Conley down in coverage first, recovered the football, and Clinton has the football at their own 47-yard line. Hey, Mike, what can we do different on offense to get this second-string offense to move the ball down the field and run out this clock? Got any ideas down there? What are they trying to do?
Right now, they're just trying to move the ball, but their defensive line's coming pretty much walking through our offensive line, so yeah, it's pretty tough. They're still playing their varsity players, and we're playing a lot of JV kids.
Yeah, we sure are. There's a quick pop up the middle, though. There's Josh Wilson still on his feet and tripped up from behind after he gets inside the 40 and down to about the 37-yard line for a first down for the Clinton Maroons. So that's been our best run. Okay, now Josh comes up limping a little bit there, Mike. You get the injury report. That's why you're down there, okay? All right. Check on it, and we'll get back to you in a second. But they're going to have to bring Josh out of the ball game as he comes up limping. You know what I saw, and maybe Mike can verify this a little further, I saw one of their players trailing the play actually fall on the back of his leg. Nick Parks accidentally kind of fell on the back of his leg, and that's what tripped him and forced him to go down, and that might have caused the injury. What do you think, Joe, from up here?
I absolutely. Is that
the way you saw it?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think he got hit on the back of the leg by that tackler, and that's what's hurting him now, I think.
37-yard line, first and 10 for Clinton's second-string offense here. And another good run up the middle. This is, Trimble. It's Trimble. He's outside, down to the 20. Still on his feet, stays in bounds, sheds another tackle, and goes out of bounds. Nice run there, down to about the 15-yard line or so. That's a number change from the program. 34, James Trimble, who was listed as 44 in the program. For those of you in the crowd looking at your program, wondering who it is, he's not 44, he's 34. James Trimble, the senior, 5'9", 155 pounds. Great run, and the Maroons now have a first down at the 12-yard line. That one, I tell you what, a couple of those little delay handoffs have developed nicely now for the Maroons.
Yes, it was a delay handoff to the left side. He ripped up 33 yards on there as he had a good hard-nosed run. He bounced off a couple of tacklers, got to the outside.
McCleary pitches. Rich, he's got nowhere to run, has to cut it back, goes the other way. There's a flag on the play. He's cut from behind and driven to the ground. And a loss on the play and a flag probably coming up against the Maroons on the block out front. Mike, injury update for us there on Josh Wilson?
Yeah, he got hit in the calf. They thought somebody kicked him or fell with a knee on his calf. He's okay, though.
Yeah, he's back in the ballgame as we are speaking. He comes back in the ballgame, and Trimble, who had that fine run, comes out of the lineup. And he's greeted immediately by a starter at fullback most of the time, and certainly at linebacker, Jeff Wilson, as he comes to the sideline. Little delay in the game as they figure out the penalty situation here. I didn't see the initial call. I assume it's a hold or clip or something.
Yeah, it's a hold.
Okay. Well, we're down to 1 minute and 4 seconds to go in the ball game. And, Joe, next week it's Monticello. At Monticello, they were 0-2 coming into tonight's ball game. We can compare, although I know coaches hate for us to do this kind of thing, but we can compare the fact that Unity beat them 26-0, and we won that one over Unity last week 40-34. So you would think we would have the upper hand going into that ball game, but it'll probably, at least in past years it has been, it'll probably be homecoming for Monticello, and they'll probably be up for that. Here's McCleary on a sneak up the middle, and then I'll get to your comments. So it'll probably be homecoming, and they'll be at home. And last time we played there, wasn't that the ball game where we lost it on a touchdown late in the ball game, or on a field goal, whatever the case was. 9-7. It was a 9-7 ball game. Why did I bring that up? So we'll want revenge for that ball game, won't we?
Well, I believe it was, and
Let Joe talk. I know. I'm sorry.
And
Here, give me your mic. Just forget it. Go home. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
And I think definitely Monticello did lose to Tolono, but they always get up for Clinton, so it should be a pretty good game. I don't know.
Well, the Maroons will go into it with an unblemished record so far, 3-0. They run the clock out and they win this game by a final score of 48-18. We'll come back and recap this exciting first half, especially of football, by the Clinton Maroons when we come back in just a minute. From Clinton High School, the Clinton Maroons, with an exciting first half of play, win this ball game by a final score of 48-18. It was just total domination by the Maroon starters in that first half of play. They scored 4 touchdowns in the first quarter of play. They add on 3 more in the second half of play. And really, that first score by the Maroons, the interception by Ryan Schumacher and a run back of 30 yards or so, set the tone for this ball game tonight, Joe.
It really did, and the Maroons had something like 14.3 yards of rush in that first half, and anytime you do that, that's getting it done. And that really, as you said, set the tone for the game. And it really, Clinton just ripped off big play after big play, and that's why the big score, 48-18.
You know, we've seen the Maroon offense score points in that last ball game, the win over Unity. They scored 40 points in winning that ball game. So we felt confident that Clinton could score points this year, even before the season started, and they have shown that they can do that. And again, they did that here tonight. A bigger question, though, can we stop the opponent? And, boy, the Maroon defensive starters in there in the first half and early in the third quarter did the job. Really, they only gave up the 1 touchdown. Maybe that second one. I think the starters were still in there. But defensively and on special teams covering kickoffs, and we had a lot of practice doing that tonight with all the touchdowns we scored, gang tackling and hustling downfield and covering plays, it was just tremendous here tonight defensively out there.
Yeah, really the big story of the game is that Kyle Steele averages 119 yards a game over his first 2 games, gets 43 tonight.
Yeah.
And he's the big horse for Warrensburg, and when you keep him down to that many yards of rush and make him a non-factor in the game, you have a pretty good chance of beating them. And really the big guys for them were Freebairn and Chamberlain, who were the wide receivers, as they had to go to the passing game when they were down so much, and that took them out of their element, and that's a big reason why they could not come back as well.
Well, the Maroons scored a bunch of touchdowns tonight, and they spread it around pretty good. Ryan Schumacher scored 2. One was on the pass interception. The other score was on a nifty catch by Ryan, and he fell in the end zone the rest of the way, catching about the 5, and pulled himself into the end zone the rest of the way, where he could have been stopped short. It was a 12-yard touchdown pass on that one. That was our final score before halftime that put us up 42-6 at halftime. Nate Sam's got a couple touchdown runs, one of 54 yards, and then a 2-yard quarterback keeper for Nate in this ball game. Ryan Conley had a big 73-yard run for a touchdown in this ball game. Bob Igems with a kickoff return of 85 yards for a touchdown. Clyde Leggett, a 24-yard run for a touchdown there in the third quarter of play to give us the 48 points in the ball game. I mean, we spread it around among several different people, and we found several different weapons to score. And that's going to make Clinton that much tougher to defense with upcoming opponents, 4 upcoming opponents. They're going to have a hard time shutting down the Maroon offense when they got to look at Sams, when they got to look at Conley, when they got to look at Schumacher, and now Clyde Leggett, or if Jeff Wilson gets back in there at fullback. It's going to be tough for them to cover.
Yeah, really, so far this year, you can look at Sams and you can look at Schumacher for the scores, and Igems last week against Tolono. But Clyde Leggett, a guy coming in for an injured starter, he's a junior, but he only has 2 years experience really playing football. He comes in, rips off a big touchdown run, 24 yards, and you know, that makes him feel good. He did a great job overall in the running game, and the running game really gelled, and they only had to throw 1 pass all night.
Radio-wise, we're going to continue here on our wrap-up, but on TV, we've had a long night with so many scores and so on, so we're going to wrap it up here on TV and then take a commercial break on radio and come back with more and wrap things up on the radio side. But those of you watching the replay on Clinton Cable TV, hope you enjoyed the telecast. Again, the final score, the Clinton Maroons defeat Warrensburg-Latham 48-18. And we'll come back here in just a moment on radio. But for now, goodbye to our television viewers.